Testing, testicles. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, can I have a double pepperoni deluxe with 2 liter of cherry Coke?
That sounds awful.
Who the fuck are you, pizza guy? I didn't ask you.
I didn't ask for your criticism.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. To get ourselves a treat.
Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Let's All Go to the Lobby. I'm your co-host, T-Kettle.
And I'm your co-host, Nico. I'm not as good as you.
Nico 9.
Nico 9.
Yeah.
We gotta bring Brian. Brian mentioned out the gate? Like, what?
Brian mentioned out the gate.
Out the gate. We gotta bring Brian on here because he's got to do his voice.
What's his voice? He's got a bunch of voices.
Have you ever heard his movie trailer voice?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Oh, dude, it's amazing. You gotta hear it. He did a fake movie trailer for me once called Midget Farm 3.
Okay.
He's like, Academy Award winner Nicolas Cage in Midget Farm 3, The Uprising. It was so
I definitely have not heard that, but it sounds awesome.
We want to turn that into a real trailer now. No joke.
Really?
No joke, yeah.
Shit, dude. Now you gotta get Nicolas Cage.
I know, gotta do it somehow. Or we can do like what Robert Rodriguez did in like Machete Kills or whatever, when he had like Machete Kills in Space, the trailer at the end of the movie. He had like, and Justin Bieber as, but it was just like some dude in a mask. It wasn't.
Or you just get like a JPEG.
Yeah. Ha. Or, you know.
Yeah.
That's what he likes to do, right?
He makes a lot of fucking noises, dude. So, yeah.
We got some news. We got
a shit ton of it.
Shit ton of it, baby. Let's consolidate some of it. All right, first of all. Oh, yeah. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. First thing
Rapid
is,
fire.
Here's some rumor. You ready for some rumor?
Rumors.
Here's some rumor talk here. Black Widow's going to be rated R.
No, impossible.
No way. That's not going to happen. Absolutely not. Do you think Marvel would separate themselves from the Netflix continuity because it's so rated R if they were just going to make Black Widow rated R?
See, I don't think they can do anything like that just because she's attached to like Avengers.
Yeah. If it was like because they're like absorbing Fox into their canon or whatever, obviously, well, they're going to reboot everything, I imagine. But maybe not Deadpool. We'll have to see about that one. But if they bring Deadpool in, Deadpool I can understand because not only is he pre-established as an R-rated character, but I feel like he can stand alone away from the Avengers. But if you introduce someone in the Avengers, there's absolutely no way they're going to have an R-rated solo film.
They're not going to be. If they do a R-rated solo film, they're not going to have that R rating attached to them when they get thrown into movies with the rest of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you'd have to like disassociate that with it.
And it would be very strange to just have like this weird offshoot where they've been PG-13 for their whole on-screen life, right? And then all of a sudden there's like this bump of an R, and then they're back to PG-13. That would be such a strange thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Unlike like Harry Potter, where it like is PG and then it gets to PG-13.
Right, where it kind of like goes up like gradually. You can't just jump. That's a big jump because PG to PG-13 I don't think is as big of a jump
as PG-13
to R.
Yeah, it's major.
Yeah, I mean, look at frickin' some of these PG movies like Temple of Doom. I mean, we've talked about it, how that was basically the film that, you know, kind of created the PG-13.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's probably not going to happen. And what do you think they would do with it? They would just make a John Wick movie?
Yeah,
just, like,
yeah,
blood
probably.
Splatter and stuff.
Because I heard it's supposed to be like a prequel sort of thing, where it like goes into her origin and stuff like that, which I thought would be cool because I thought it was just thrown into Age of Ultron a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of out of nowhere. I just rewatched Age of Ultron the other day because it was on TV, and I like the film. I think it's a good film, but it's definitely the weakest Avengers film in my opinion. There's too much thrown in there.
Avengers?
Of like Avengers, yeah.
Oh.
Like there's too much thrown in there, and one of the things that was thrown in there was Black Widow's like backstory. They try to like add backstory.
They mentioned it before.
Yeah, they have, but I feel like it would be cool to flesh that out. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to her solo film, but I think if they really want the audience, they're not going to make it rated R.
No, not a chance.
No, absolutely not. All right, want to go on to our next piece of news here?
Get it.
So, video game movies have been known to be like the worst.
Yeah.
Just straight up the worst.
Absolutely.
Let's name a good video game movie. Like, a great video game movie. Can't do it. You can't do it. Now, I can name a passable one that's pretty decent, which is the new Tomb Raider. I thought it was pretty decent, but it ain't it ain't great by any means.
Okay.
That's the closest thing I could think of. And all right, but the next one is going to be Uncharted. And Uncharted Uncharted has found its director in 10 Cloverfield Lane's director, Dan Trachtenberg.
That's sick.
That is sick. He's awesome, dude. I've watched him in interviews and stuff because he got his start on the internet, right? He made like a Portal short film. Yeah, like for the video game Portal.
So he likes video games.
Yeah,
there
exactly. So he freaking knows his shit, you know what I mean? So
What else did he do besides 10 Cloverfield Lane? Is that it, pretty much?
that was his like only feature, but he also did an episode of Black Mirror, the one with Kurt Russell's son. The one with like the video game, another video game.
Oh,
thing. The one with the video game where it was like a horror survival game that he got thrown into.
Whatever.
I thought it was alright. I like that one. It's kind of like I thought that was a cool throwback to like the cautionary tales of like the Twilight Zone. You know? But he's also been attached to Y the Last Man forever, but that fell through. Point is, I like him because he gives me hope. Because he had to start on the internet. Like he made a viral video and now boom.
And it's it's a video game movie. This is a video game movie.
Yeah,
it's gonna be big, and I can't wait. I think Nathan Drake is so easy to translate into film because he's pretty much the formula is kind of already established. It's kind of like an Indiana Jones type thing.
Exactly. So going to the casting of Nathan Drake, since you brought it up, for those of you who don't know, Tom Holland has been cast as Naked Drake. Naked Drake. No, because he's been cast as Nathan Drake because they want to explore the origin story of how he met Sully. So I feel like there's a part of me that's like, oh, I want to see traditional Nathan Drake from the games, but there's another part of me that's like, it's cool to see something different, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I would rather them try something new rather than to try to adapt the game verbatim, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously throw in some callbacks and stuff here and there, of course.
It's probably going to be like, remember in the third game, they have the whole few chapters where it's like his backstory, how he met Sully. It's probably going to be like that.
Yeah, probably. It's cool that they're trying something new is the point. And I was just telling you this, is that I have, with almost 100% certainty, I'm certain they cast Tom Holland just so Tom Holland, because he's so young, he can grow with the franchise.
That's
you
true.
know, because they're like, oh, we want to make like 10 Uncharted movies. Let's get a young actor so he can be him for all of them.
Sounds about right. Instead of, casting the person that would actually look like Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
or
they're casting.
Act like Nathan Drake. You know who would be really good? He's probably a little bit too old now, but back in his heyday, Nathan Fillion.
Oh, dude, he's like the classic choice, you know? I mean, did you see the short film with Nathan Fillion? He did an Uncharted short film. Did you see it?
No, I actually didn't.
You didn't see it?
No, but I did hear, talk that he would have been good for it, but I didn't see the short film, though.
Yeah, he did a short film about it, and it was pretty decently made. It was alright. He is too old for the role, though. He definitely is too old for the role. I think Brett Dalton would make a great Nathan Drake.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me the other day.
Yeah, Brett Dalton, for those of you who don't know,
see that.
is from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He plays Ward. And he just looks like him, and if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know he has that, charisma and, that cool, snarky attitude. I love it. And you know who I think would be a great Elena? I know you're going to think I'm crazy for saying this.
God.
I think Blake Lively would be great as Elena.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, she looks like her.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think her voice is kind of similar. I think she could bring it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. That's just me.
That's
just me, though. That's what I would do. I'd cast Blake Lively. Blake Lively and Brett Dalton. Boom. A-list.
But no, we're doing youngster.
We're going youngster version with Tom Holland, who I like. I like Tom Holland.
I like Tom Holland.
I like you, Tom. We'll talk about Tom Holland later in a certain trailer. I wonder which one. Ooh. So yeah.
That's so Mysterio, dude.
So Mysterio. That was good. I'm gonna give you props for that one. Give me a high five for that one. That one was good. Oh man. So yeah, Dan Trachtenberg. I'm excited. I like him. I've seen him in interviews. He seems like a really humble dude. And cool thing about Dan Trachtenberg, I saw him in an interview once. You know how people these directors always give you like pieces of advice and stuff, but it's like the dumbest advice. You're like, okay, this is not even advice or whatever.
Yeah. Fortune cookie wisdom.
Yeah, exactly. He was asked this, like, what's the best advice you can give to, like, a filmmaker up and coming? And his advice was awesome. It was something along the lines of, I'm just going to paraphrase, like,
sure.
Do whatever. Like, if you're doing a podcast, keep doing it. Like, if you're doing YouTube videos, keep doing them. Like, even if you're just doing vlogs or doing whatever, because eventually it will just lead you into the road that you realize you need to go down. You know, someone's going to look at it, and it's going to be important, and then that's going to propel you, you know? So it's like, he's basically saying that every avenue of creative art that you do will eventually lead you to the place you need to be.
And perfect what you're doing by constantly doing it.
Exactly. So these podcasts, it might seem like we're just talking, but it's actually making us more creative, is basically what he was saying. And that's awesome.
That's why we do them.
Yeah, dude. And Dan Trachtenberg, good luck with Uncharted. Please make the first great video game movie. I have faith.
So bad.
You want it, because remember when David O. Russell was attached to this, and Mark Wahlberg was going to play, and Robert De Niro was going to.
I did hear that.
That's not a good. No,
I don't see that at all.
That's not good at all, dude. So, good thing a guy who actually likes and understands the video games is doing this, because that's the problem, dude. People just don't get video games. Like, I could be wrong here, but I do not think the director of Assassin's Creed ever even played that game. You know what I mean?
Read the synopsis online.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the only exception to that is Duncan Jones apparently is a huge Warcraft fan. But apparently, and this is from what I've heard because I haven't seen Warcraft, apparently if you know the game, you love that film. But if you're just a novice and you don't know anything about it, you're lost.
That's what I heard too.
Like, yeah, you're just like, what is happening? So he loved the game so much to the point where he made it only for people who loved it too.
It's like inaccessible to anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't consider that to be a good film. Good game film.
Yeah, exactly. So, come on, Dan Trachtenberg. We have faith in you. Speaking of directors, you want to talk about our next piece of news here? Here's some good news. Chris McQuarrie is set to direct back-to-back Mission Impossible films.
Get them out there, dude.
Let's do it.
I want to see them year by year, like every year. No, I don't actually want that.
And you know the Chris McQuarrie was the first one to actually acknowledge continuity, sort of, in his Mission Impossible films, because Fallout was technically like the first direct sequel to Rogue Nation, if you think about it. Because Rogue Nation and like Ghost Protocol, obviously it's the same. It's like a sequel, but they're kind of like pocket stories.
And he acknowledged the third one with the wife and everything.
Yeah, exactly. But they're sort of like pocket stories.
Yeah.
Like Rogue Nation and Fallout were like a continuous story.
Yes.
And so I think that's what they're going to continue here. They're making it like the show, like the old show. Bringing in villains and stuff like the Apostles and the Syndicate and stuff. And they're making it, you know.
Each movie's like a season.
Exactly. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Like we just talked about how the action movie is dead. And there are only two franchises that are really keeping it alive. One is Mission Impossible, the other being John Wick, which might come up later. You know.
I got nothing for that.
You got nothing
creative? Nothing creative for that one.
All right. Well,
So, yeah. Do you think they're just going to pop them out? Like it's going to be like a Lord of the Rings where it's just like, oh, we got one on standby already made. It's going to be ready next year.
Probably. I think they had release dates for them. I think it was something along the lines of like 2020 and 2021.
So that's exactly what's happening.
So yeah, that's what I if I can recall correctly. And hey, how old will freaking Tom Cruise be by that time? I don't even know.
Oh man, he's gonna be coming up on 60 at that point.
Oh my gosh, dude. Is he still gonna be jumping off of buildings when he's 60? I mean, he looks great for his age. I don't know what magical Scientology juice he's drinking, but like that dude.
But I want some of
that. That dude is like aging in reverse or something. Okay.
Yeah.
He's one of the best action stars.
You know what's funny is Keanu Reeves is like that too. They're both just vampires.
They are. You're right, and they're both really good action stars. I admire Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves for keeping the action genre alive. You know.
Yeah.
Like the bare bones action genre, not like fantasy action. So yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to it. I love Chris McQuarrie. I think he's kind of underrated in a certain way. You know. So I think
he's definitely getting traction with every single entry he does.
100%. It's going to be interesting to have, because it's kind of like when Mission Impossible first started, it kind of had like the James Bond mentality of like, let's have a different filmmaker kind of do each one to bring their own flavor to it.
Yep.
And then I think Sam Mendes was the first one to do a sequel, I believe, with Spectre.
Well, yeah, because the one before that was a direct sequel to Casino Royale.
Oh yeah, but Mark Foster.
It was a continuation of that same story.
No, yeah. I mean, like director-wise, like it was one director for each. It was a different director for each film.
Gotcha.
Because,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because Casino Royale was Martin Campbell, and then Mark Foster did Quantum of Solace, and then Sam Mendes did Skyfall, and then he came back.
It's funny that I don't know if you can really say like. Okay, yeah, sure, but I don't know why they would have not had the same director for that, because once they rebooted it with Casino Royale, they wanted to do
like a
continuous story where every single consequence mattered from the last one.
Because it made sense in the old days to have, like, because they were very bottle episodes, you know what I mean? They were like, they didn't have continuity, really. They just had, like, it was like the adventure of the week, and the next one was a different adventure of the week, you know, and it was all different villains, whatever. They didn't really have much of a through line. You know, but now with you're right. With Daniel Craig's version, they have a through line now.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's where a lot of people thought like they have to end that arc with the next one. Mm-hmm. You know, they have to end that arc and then reboot it again. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think these ones are actually following the books or whatever.
That's what I heard too. I looked this up. I don't know how I looked this up, but, you know, I looked up Bond 25, you know, and you know how Cary Fukunaga is directing it? He freaking, you know, he's the first, and I had no idea, he's the first American-born director to helm a James Bond film. Ever.
You're fucking joking.
I'm being dead serious. There's been 24 James Bond films. Not a single one of them has been directed by someone who's American. This is the first one.
The most American film.
Yeah, I know. This is the first freaking James Bond film to be directed by American.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not as American as something like Mission Impossible because James Bond is MI6, you know, and it's all British and stuff.
Yeah, but I guess I mean like it's associated with it. It's been associated for so long.
It's part of American culture, yeah.
Yes.
It's huge in American pop culture. Yeah, but I couldn't believe that. I was
That's actually shocking.
I know. I read that on Wikipedia, and I'm like, that can't be true. And then I basically just, like, kind of skimmed, like, the last 20 directors, and it was like, blah, 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 blah. It's an English-born, New Zealand-born, Australian-born, and I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is true. Like, wow. That's something. That is something.
You had to fact check them real quick.
Yeah? You're going to pull that fact check on me? That's going to be a tough fact check. Because you're gonna have to go through every single.
Oh no, I'm not doing it. I'm just saying you did that to them.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like that'd be a big revelation if people didn't already know that.
Yeah, that's insane. I couldn't believe that. So anyway, going back to Mission Impossible, can't wait.
Yep.
For whatever's in store. Hopefully, Tom Cruise will be flying off of buildings when he's 60.
These fucking like shifts in the fucking sunlight can fuck off, dude. I'm turning the light on. I'm thinking constant. There we go. Oh, Jesus.
There it is.
Unbelievable.
You got it. Are you ready to go on to the next piece of news here?
Yo, what do you got?
All right, so Jason Reitman is doing a new Ghostbusters movie set in the original universe.
I mean, do we even need to talk about it? We're about to talk about it in a minute anyway.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I think we should just consolidate it all right here. Let's just consolidate it all right here. So, yeah,
you released a teaser, too.
Well, the thing is, like, they announced it, and then the day after, they threw out, like, first of all, they announced it out of nowhere, and it's like, wow, that's an interesting piece of news. And then they just threw out the teaser. It's like, oh, no, we're really doing this.
But the teaser literally didn't take any effort, like, whatsoever.
No,
you could have filmed it, like, almost anywhere and just, like...
That's a teaser basically just meant to show you that they're making it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in the movie.
To circulate the news a little bit better.
Exactly. That's just, like, something that they're doing. So, because when the news hit, I was like, that's crazy. And then that trailer hit, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is for real. They're doing it. Wow, okay.
It's not empty words.
Yeah, it's not empty words. So, this is supposed to... It's basically Ghostbusters 3. Yeah. But apparently it's supposed to follow a new cast, 2 guys, 2 girls. They're supposed to be teenagers, I heard. I don't know if they're supposed to be like the grandkids or the sons of the original. I don't know. I'm just theorizing here. Ernie Hudson, though, has come out. You know, he played Winston in the originals. He said everyone's on board, including Bill Murray.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, so everyone's on board. They probably just want to... Don't give me flack for this, okay? You know the movie was bad. Even though I didn't see it, so I probably shouldn't say it was bad. They're probably doing it because the 2016 reboot kind of left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. So they're probably like, okay, we need to end the series on like a high because this was just terrible. We could have a whole podcast discussing the backlash of the 2016 film or whatever.
We pretty much could.
It's not... here's my thoughts quickly on the 2016 movie. I haven't seen it. But just because people say they didn't like it, it's not because they're sexist, and it's not because it was a woman cast. It was probably because the film looked terrible. Like, if those characters were male, and they had the same trailer, it would have looked just as bad. And the reason it's the most disliked trailer of all time is not because of the women, it's because you took a beloved property that many people hold dear to their hearts, almost like Star Wars level. Like, there are some huge fans out there of Ghostbusters. And to them, you kind of sullied the name. So it's not because of the women, it was because of the quality of the film.
And you changed the comedic tone of it, too.
Yeah, exactly. You made it more like slapstick, kind of PG-13, like weird, even though the first Ghostbusters is PG, but, this man has no dick. Ratings were a joke back then, dude.
Yeah.
Point is, I didn't see it, so I'm not going to say if the film was bad or not. But I just almost refuse to see that reboot just because of all the backlash. Like, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, it is.
If you like it, the Ghostbusters fans are going to go after you. And if you don't like it, these people who think you're sexist for no reason are going to come after you.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yep. Anyway, Jason Reitman is the son of Ivan Reitman, who did the first and second Ghostbusters film, right? So, if anyone can do Ghostbusters, sure.
Yeah, I'm for it. I gotta be honest though, I'm not like a huge diehard fan of.
Me neither. Yeah,
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the Ghostbusters either. Like, I like the film. I mean, it's cool. It's fun. But yeah, some people have. There's Ghostbusters conventions. There's like Ghostbusters comic books. There's Ghostbusters fans out there who like I said, it's like Star Wars to them or Star Trek. Like, there are diehard Ghostbusters out there.
Yeah.
What do you call them? The Ghostbusters?
No, it's just funny. It's funny. Because you just use the title of the name to describe the fan base.
Yeah, exactly. The Ghostbusties. So there are a lot of Ghostbusties out there. Or no, you know what? They should be called Slimers. So there's a lot of Slimers. Because there's Trekkies. What are Star Wars people called, though?
Oh, boy.
What are Star Wars people called? They don't even have a name, I don't think.
Wookiees.
Trekkies, Wookiees, Ghosties.
Yeah.
Or no, Slimers. Sorry. And then,
or you can just be a person who likes that. Like, like, hey, I like Star Trek. Like, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I was reading an interview when it was announced that Jason Reitman was doing it, and Jason Reitman came out with a statement when they announced it, and he's like, I consider myself the first ever Ghostbusters fan, because I was on the set when I was 6 years old, watching something happen. So I am the first Ghostbusters fan, is basically what he said, and that's true. I mean...
That is absolutely true.
Yeah, so if he wants to pay tribute to his dad,
awesome.
That's awesome. Like, good for him. I know that he's had some hit and misses, at least for you, because you do not like Tully.
Nope.
I'm not a huge fan of Juno.
But I don't really chalk that up to him. I mean, I do like Up in the Air.
Up in the Air is amazing.
It's a real good movie.
Yeah, he's a good director. He's a good director for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be like his first big budget movie too.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, and I think he has a heart for it because again, his dad created the friggin'. His dad's still around. I'm not like but his dad created the freaking
source material.
Source material. So it's like, yeah, okay. I'm glad that this guy is doing it as opposed to like someone who
right off the streets, never watched the movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Or never played the game.
Yeah. Get the guy from Assassin's Creed to do the new Ghostbusters. He is doing a Western, though, this year, apparently. The guy who directed Assassin's Creed.
Oh, boy.
But he also directed Macbeth, and I heard Macbeth was really good. So.
Yeah. Don't attach people that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Right. Yeah, and like we said, the trailer is like nothing. It's just almost like an announcement trailer.
It's just like, hey,
we're making
exists.
this. Yep.
which still really doesn't mean that it exists, just because, like I said, there's literally nothing tying it to anything except for like the vehicle or whatever. But you could have slapped that like vinyl on from anything.
Oh yeah, that's not that. But I will say though about that trailer though, and no disrespect to the 2016 film, that 52-second trailer had more tone and more atmosphere.
Than it did.
Yeah, than that entire 2016 movie.
Yeah, I can't say I dig it. It's a thing. It's an announcement. So
right. But hey, I'm looking forward to it still.
Yeah, sure.
Ghostbusters 3 has been like, everyone's been clamoring for that film for years, dude. It almost got to the point where people were like, just make it so people could shut up about it. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a Friends reunion. You know?
So this is our last news, right?
Yes, it is. And it's our best news too.
Is it though?
Yeah. You remember when we did a news story about how Tim Story was doing a live-action Tom and Jerry movie?
Yeah.
A live-action hybrid Tom and Jerry movie?
But we're not talking about that.
No, we're talking about his other magnum opus.
Monopoly
movie. Not just a Monopoly movie, T-Kettle. A Monopoly movie starring Kevin Hart.
So Wall Street?
I
don't know what the fuck
How are you going to make a Monopoly movie?
Every character is like on a board or whatever. Like this is one of those like, what is this? Like a Saw movie where like they just attach them to a board and it's like you have to play the game. You have to roll the dice.
Yeah. I was just thinking about this in the car the other day when I was just rewatching our podcast or whatever, and I got to the point where we were talking about the Barbie news, and I was like, I wonder how they're going to do it, and here's how I pray they're not going to do it. I hope they don't Fat Albert the thing and have it to where, like, it takes place in the real world and Barbie's like a doll.
But those characters are fiction.
But those characters are fiction, and then the characters come to life. You know, it's like a girl plays with a Barbie doll, and then her Barbie doll comes to life. I'm like, I don't want that.
How the fuck would that work with Monopoly?
I don't know.
Are like a giant board.
Are they going to be playing Monopoly and then have like a Jumanji thing where they get sucked into the board?
Does Kevin Hart fucking voice a giant shoe?
Yeah,
is that what we're fucking dealing with?
I don't know if this is.
And they go to no, that actually wouldn't work. I was gonna say they go to Bill Cosby's house, but that's.
Oh, okay, you from Fat Albert?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I don't know if this is going to be live action or animated. This is the first freaking...
Do you have a picture?
No, I don't have a picture, but this is the first freaking news story that popped up. Because I looked it up, I'm like, Monopoly movie, and it says, Kevin Hart in talks to star in the Monopoly movie nobody asked for. Oh my gosh. For Lionsgate and Hasbro. Dude, Hasbro, no. Let's see. You're using ad blockers. Shut up. For reasons that can only be explained. I'm just trying to find out if this is animated or if this.
I don't think it's developed enough to even. They don't even know.
They don't even know. And look, no disrespect to Tim's Story, but what's up with these projects he's choosing?
They're weird.
They're
so weird.
Yes.
This is not a blockbuster, dude. This is not going to make you money.
No.
I don't know what you're doing.
You want to hear a crazy story about me, though? This is true. You ready for this?
Sure. Okay.
I have never in my life played Monopoly.
You're really?
Dead serious.
Well, you would if you did. I guess I would know because you'd still be playing the game right now.
That's right.
Yeah, you wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have this podcast.
That's right. I'd be making a movie right now about Monopoly. So with Kevin Hart. No, because I heard that it's a game that just doesn't end.
That's pretty much true. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that doesn't have an appeal to me. It's like.
I mean, you basically just keep playing until somebody else goes, like, bankrupt. Right.
Teaching kids to be capitalists since 1907 or whenever they... Which I don't mind, but... It's whatevs. Yeah, so Kevin Hart. I'm looking forward to not seeing that. Yeah. Yeah. Again, watch it come out. Watch it be like a Lego movie. It comes out and it's like the biggest hit. I can't see it. There's not a world I can. Yeah, I don't see it either.
It.
I mean, again, I've been proven wrong before.
I can eat my words,
but I'm having a hard time. Yeah. I can actually see the Tom and Jerry movie being a bigger hit than this.
Absolutely, dude.
You know,
especially for those people that haven't like grown up with it or whatever and are experiencing it for the first time. They're not familiar with that type of humor. Right. So let me tell you something. Yeah. That's grade A humor, dude.
Oh, 100%. I watch Tom and Jerry on my free time sometimes.
Yeah.
It's best. It's best, baby.
I actually just started working off of an I Check Movies list of like cartoons, and I haven't gotten to any of the Tom and Jerry stuff yet, but there are some fucking golden Looney Tunes cartoons. Amazing.
So good. I just watched the one yesterday that stupid Big Chungus meme that got based off of. Yeah, so I just watched that episode because WB Warner Brothers, like their YouTube channel, freaking released that episode when that meme got huge.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's wow.
So they were fully aware that episode became a meme.
Yeah.
How did these things become memes? The internet is a joke, dude. Like every day I look on the internet and I'm like,
it's unpredictable.
I hate the internet.
I think that's why I like it so much.
Yeah,
you never know what you're gonna get.
You love it. I can't stand it. Like, why is an egg being like the biggest thing on Instagram right now?
What is it?
Have you heard about the egg?
Nope.
A picture of an egg, right? It's just an egg on a white background. Became the most liked picture on Instagram in Instagram's history. It beat
what the fuck?
It beat Kylie Jenner's like 18 million likes and has 48 million likes
right
now.
Shit ton more.
It's just an egg. That's all it is. It's just an egg, and now people are making memes about this egg.
In today's standards, that's art, dude.
It's fucking no. It's stupid. And you know what that is? It's modern art, dude, and I fucking hate it. You know how I feel about modern art.
Yeah, it's just, they don't try.
They don't even try.
I feel like we've talked about this.
We have talked about this.
Yeah.
We just talked about it with Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yeah, that's
what we were talking about. And it's like, dude, modern art's a joke, dude.
Yeah.
Such a joke.
All right.
Fucking.
That's the end of the news.
That's the end of the news.
Thank God.
Yeah. Oh. So let's talk about some trailer trash. All right, let's get the smaller films out the way first, and then we'll end on the big guns. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
So let's start with Little Woods, starring Tessa Thompson and that other girl.
Lily Collins.
Lily Collins, yes. What do you think?
I think it looks good, actually.
I'd
watch it.
I think it looks decent. I didn't really get enough of the story to really kind of...
Some sort of drug dealing.
Yeah, there's some like drug dealing involved of some kind.
But the performances look really good.
Oh yeah, it definitely seems like this is like a psychological drama type film.
That's pretty much all I got out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Same here. I don't know when it's going to be released. I should look this up. This is why we need... You know what? We need a big setup so we can have all the stories just laid out here.
Or just 30 laptops in here. Just moving one.
We need an intern, dude. That's what we need. Let's get an intern.
Let me hire my brother real quick, dude. He sleeps
dude.
through the entire session.
Yes, April 19th, 2019 is when it's coming out. There's only 20 reviews so far, but it has 100% fresh right now.
Oh, okay.
Rotten Tomatoes.
So that must be from people that saw it at like the film festival.
Yeah, like the fest. Yeah, stuff like that. So
I dig it.
Yeah, let's see if there's any like top critics. Sam Weisberg from Village Voice, Brandon Katz from Observer, and The Hollywood Reporter gave it all fresh. So
yes, well, obviously because it's 100% bro.
Yes.
But anyway, I think the movie looks pretty good.
Oh, and it's not Lily Collins; it's Lily James.
Lily James.
Lily James.
Well, I thought I could have. Hold the fucking phone, bro.
Okay.
And I'm legitimately hold the fucking phone, like.
No, I'm holding the phone. Yeah, no, I got you. It's being directed by Nia DaCosta. Is directing it. Why does that sound familiar?
Look it up. We got the time now.
I know. Nia DaCosta. Why does that sound so familiar? Nia DaCosta. Oh, because she's making the Candyman reboot. That's how I...
Lily J... Yeah, I'm a dumbass. Either that or they changed it, because I swear to God, like, I just watched it, like, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I looked at the notes in the... Because I was like, she looks really familiar. It's the girl from Baby Driver.
Yeah.
And then I scrolled down, and I was like, it's, like, starring. So I swear it was... Unless they just changed it.
Well, there is a Lily Collins, too.
Is it?
There is. But, I mean, not in the film. But there is an actress named Lily Collins.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm a dumbass. Just ignore me.
No, it's all good. So, yeah, that Nia DaCosta... We talked about her with the Candyman reboot. That's how I remembered her.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Little Woods, not much to go off of, but it looks
good.
Okay.
Looks good. Yeah, I'd see it.
Yeah, same.
The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot.
Okay.
Dumbest name ever. Yeah. I definitely expected like a B movie,
but it takes itself so serious.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Big Fish, where it's just a story about exaggerations.
Yeah. See, I wasn't going to talk about this trailer for a while because I'm like, this looks dumb. But then I saw that Sam Elliott was in it, and then I read the name. I'm like, all right, I got to watch this. And then I watched it, and I was like, okay, let's talk about it because, you know, you always talk about how you want original films. This is original film, so let's talk about it.
Okay, it doesn't really appeal to me yet. Like,
so is this literally about the man who killed Hitler, right? And then he hunts Bigfoot.
Well, so something about the movie just
it seems like it's kind of like a delusion thing with him.
Yeah,
you know,
because at first it was kind of grounded, like he gets into fights with people at like outside of a bar or something like that. Yeah. And then it just goes from like seeing like special effects creatures and stuff, and it's like, okay,
like what is happening?
This like either this guy's crazy or this is literally just a Big Fish type film?
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I don't know if this title is meant to be interpreted literally, or if this is going to be sort of a thing where it's like it's deeper than you think, and it's about like this grandfather who's like stuck in the wartime. He's stuck in like World War II still, and he just can't get out of that mindset. Maybe
that fucked with his wiring. And
and something like that. And it's like a drama about that. I don't know. Or it could, we really don't know. I'm honestly weirdly curious and interested in it.
Really?
Honestly, kind of. Out of sheer morbid curiosity. I don't necessarily think it looks good, but it looks interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I like to wait till I hear what people say.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just going to wait. Mm-hmm. I'm going to wait.
Yeah. No, I'll wait too. I mean, if it gets like a 10%, I'm not going to see it, obviously. Mm-hmm. But let me see here. This guy was just nominated for something, wasn't he?
Which one?
It says he has a good chance of being nominated for Best Supporting Actor for A Star Is Born. So, Academy Award nominated Sam Elliott in.
That's his first one?
I don't know.
I feel like he's kind of legendary.
He is kind of legendary, isn't he? He kind of fell off the map a little bit, and then he kind of made a return.
Yeah, he's always been like supporting.
Yeah.
Or like he'd be like the main in like a Western or something like that.
Right. Which we'll maybe get into later in a certain list. I don't know which one though. The man who killed Hitler and then the Bigfoot. It's like, all right, you do you, man.
Yeah, I can't believe somebody approved of that name.
How do people make films like this? And yet we have such a hard time making stuff we want to make.
Also, there weren't even Nazis in it, wasn't it? The trailer?
No, I think all that's like in the flashbacks. I think him killing Hitler is just like a flashback thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
which one are we gonna do next? I'm assuming High Life.
High Life, yeah, High Life.
What do you think? What do you think that I think about this trailer?
I think you love it. I think this is like one of the. I think you jizzed your pants when you saw.
I did actually. I thought this was the best trailer that I've seen this year. I think.
I don't think this trailer gave me. I know I like. Okay, let me say first. I don't think it gave me enough, but at the same time, I like that it didn't give me enough because that's how trailers are supposed to be. I will say this though, and I said this in my Stardust review. I don't consider A24 to be like the stamp of approval. I don't. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's an A24 film. I have to watch it." But I'm like, yeah, but they also did Spring Breakers, Life After Beth, Hereditary, all films I was not big on. Especially Spring Breakers.
I know. I haven't seen that movie, and you're right. It's not a stamp of approval, but they, with this caliber of film, can like me. I love Under the Skin. I love A Ghost Story. So this kind of feels like similar to that in a way.
And Robert Pattinson is in it. And
yeah, I like him.
I like the visuals and
really like the visual flair to it.
Yes. I am looking forward to it. I do like this trailer, and I think I gave it 4 out of 5 on Stardust because. Just for the sheer fact that it looks original and it looks... I love thinking man sci-fi. You know what I mean?
And I love the things that people are saying about this. Go seek this film out 4 times ASAP. Like, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah, didn't you see that on the trailer?
Oh, like the quotes? I barely read those quotes.
Dude, I love those quotes.
I hate when people put quotes in movies. Just show me the movie. Like, I hate when people do that.
See, because you gotta fill it up somehow, and I'd prefer to fill it up with something somebody said about it, as opposed to showing like a major scene in the film.
Yes. David Ulrich from IndieWire gave it an A-, and he described it as a pensive and profound study of human life on the brink of apocalypse.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
I dig it.
So yeah, this I like you were probably your dick got so hard watching this.
Erotic space thriller. Fuck yeah, it did. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. There's a weird thing though, like because it's called High Life. Is there is this like a stoner thing too, or they're like
no?
Because like
High Life isn't like
they're in space.
But that's well, not just that, but like. Also, I think it's talking about like a class type thing, but it's completely the opposite of what they are. They're just like nobodies.
Okay, yeah, I did feel that, but also they had like botany going on and stuff, and like they were working like in gardens, and I almost swore I saw like a pot plant, and I was like,
maybe
that might be like an allegory for it.
Maybe that's just all of it, so they're just like, oh fuck it, hi dude.
Right.
Hi, your spirit.
It looks dark, gritty, depressing. But I'm anticipating it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much.
Yes, I know. All right, let's talk about...
We got two more, right?
We got two more.
Which one is it going to be?
Well, let's leave the big one for the very end. So I think John Wick 3 should be the next one we talk about. John Wick 3. You excited?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Dude, they had me at... motorcycle sword fight.
Yeah, motorcycle with katanas.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
That is such a sick visual of them they're all just in like this arrangement, and then they all just pull it out at the same time with some sort of fucking dance. Oh my god, it's so hot. I loved it.
Yeah, this movie is gonna be hype, dude.
It's gonna be so hype.
I didn't feel the hype with this trailer as like the trailer for like John Wick Chapter 2, probably because of like the music choice, but the music choice was perfect though. Wasn't it like Frank Sinatra or something, or like Dean Martin?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Which I kind of associate now with like Kingsman.
Yeah.
Kingsman been doing that.
Yeah. I will say though, it's weird. The title is weird to me. John Wick Chapter 3. No, it's John Wick : Chapter 3 - Parabellum. Because they didn't just want to be like John Wick Parabellum. Because they're like, oh, well, we did Chapter 2, so we got to do Chapter 3. Let's just do it both. Let's just do them both. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. So
no, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The style looks fantastic. I love the style of like the John Wick movies, like the super bright neon color.
Yep.
It's so cool.
I still like the way that they talk about him.
Yeah.
Like he's a badass to everybody, and it's like now everybody's going to be after him because of this like $54 million or whatever.
Yeah, or what?
Like,
yeah.
I think they've evened the playing field. It's
yeah,
like, damn,
I love that.
Damn.
Yeah, he's like, well, everyone's going to be after him, so you could say it's even. It's like,
yep, they still hype him up, and that's probably my favorite. It goes against action like tropes. It's always like an uphill battle for the main character, and the villains are like the big threat, but it's vice versa in this. It's always been, and it works.
Yeah, and Halle Berry has joined the cast as someone who is working with John Wick.
Somebody who's probably going to betray him.
Probably. Let's just be real. Like at the end of the film. But yeah, dude.
And there's that scene where he's walking up the sand.
Yeah.
I swear, I was getting like, you ever play the game Journey?
No, I haven't.
Well, Journey is like, you go on this big journey of like jumping around and stuff, and you got to find your way, and then you eventually like get to a mountain like that, or like a thing like that, a hill.
Yeah. And
your character just starts to like get like fall over and stuff, and it's like you made it, but also it's so depressing. And I was wondering if they were gonna do something like that, where he's like, oh, he makes it across the border or whatever, like he's safe, but then he just fucking dies right there.
Maybe that's like the last shot of the movie, like he's straight up.
He just falls over. He just falls over.
Yeah.
The only one who can beat him is exhaustion.
Yeah. All right. Like for real, dude.
Dehydration.
He's freaking. How is he gonna get out of this scenario? That's what I wonder. Like, I don't know, but it's gonna be sick.
With a pencil, probably.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude! I can't freaking wait. I love the best thing about John Wick to me is not just the action, but it's the world building.
Yeah.
The world building was the thing that separated the first John Wick from just being a standard action film.
Yes,
The world building is what really made it. And then they just expanded on it to the point where they wanted to make a continental TV show, just exploring the world even more.
No, they're not doing that anymore?
I don't know. I don't know if they are. They
I thought
might
it was
be.
supposed to be coming out in like May or something like that.
It could be. I have no idea. I have no idea. But if they do, that'd be sick.
That would be sick.
Fucking John Wick riding a horse, dude?
Yeah.
Hell yeah! That's awesome, dude.
Yep, so that's going to be so fucking hype, dude.
Dude, I can't wait for that film, dude. Because the first two are so... so good. So good. I love the colors of these films, too. They're just so vibrant. So good. All right. We'll talk about the big one.
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Spider-Man. Far From Home.
Which you said right off the bat that you're like, oh, I don't know if this was a good idea to show this.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, well, you know, there's been rumors that Marvel and Sony kind of clashed a lot on this film, like when to release the trailer, when to release the actual film. Apparently Marvel didn't want Far From Home to be the first film in Phase 4, but Sony was like, haha, well, we do. So, and we own, like, you know, it's like a 51-49 type situation, you know? Like, we own 51% of the characters, so it's up to us. You know, so, I don't know. But I will say the trailer looks great. I'm excited for it. One thing I like is that the scale looks a lot bigger than the first one. I like Homecoming, but I wasn't as huge on it as like what was that, like a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, or like 95%. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's awesome.
Yeah,
but I feel like I wouldn't give it that high of a rating personally.
I mean, I just gotta remind you that Rotten Tomatoes that's not like the rating it got. It's just like how many people.
Yeah, it's how many. Yeah. Obviously, that's how many people gave it.
So there's probably a ton of people that gave it. There's actually like an actual score that goes along with it.
Yeah. Here, I'll look it up.
It's probably like a 6.3 or whatever.
Well, yeah, that's like that's at the bottom.
That's the average.
Mm-hmm. And let me see. Let me just look that up real quick for you. Yeah, 92% critics gave it a positive review, but if you look under that, the average rating is 7.6 out of 10.
And that's not a bad. That's pretty fine enough score.
Yeah, that's a good score. So yeah, that's
more realistic than like a 9.
Yeah. So first off the bat, there's gonna be a lot of theorizing here. I just imagined with this.
Yep.
A lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is after Endgame." I don't think it. I think it's right after Homecoming. I'm gonna be real. I think it takes place right after Homecoming, because why doesn't he have his armor spider suit? You know, I think it's right after Homecoming. Good point.
And the world just feel like there's not enough
dread.
Yeah, I feel like that's what would happen after coming, no matter what.
Yeah. If if 3 billion people just vanished from the earth, you'd be talking about that shit for ever.
It's not going to be like a happy little vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, this just kind of feels like an anime movie that got thrown in, and it just takes place when a question mark. That's when it takes place.
I have that feeling it takes place after Homecoming. I could be wrong. We don't know. At least they didn't tell us, so we don't know. True. We don't know how much this spoils. If this does take place after Endgame, then it spoils a lot. If it doesn't, then it doesn't spoil anything. But we literally just don't know.
I got a question too. You know, you got Nick Fury over there, dressed up like Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like retired or something like that?
He was like semi-retired. He was like more so like on the run.
Because Shield is like it's no more.
It's gone. Yeah, it disbanded.
Which leads me to believe that Nick Fury is Chameleon.
Yes, I think that would be because there's rumors that Chameleon is in the film.
So it just seems like this entire scenario is like organized for sure.
Yeah,
Mysterio trying to be the good guy.
Yes,
but it's like do you think this is like the Sinister Six? Like
they're setting it up, the Sinister Six.
Yeah,
I think so because we got the Vulture, Shocker within the first one. And then they met the Scorpion, you know, I don't know if you know the guy in the prison at the very end. Mm-hmm. That's Scorpion, Matt Gargan. And then Chameleon and freaking Mysterio, and then someone else. So yeah.
Is Dr. Octopus part of it? Or?
Yes, he is. There's been a lot of iterations of the Sinister Six. There's even been the Sinister 12. I'm not even joking, that's true.
No.
Sinister Syndicate is another one. There's been a lot of variations on the Sinister Six. One thing, I don't think Nick Fury is who he says he is. I bet he is the Chameleon because the Chameleon is rumored to be in the film. And if the theory that Mysterio is basically Syndrome who's staging all these catastrophic events to be the hero of the day or whatever, I think that would make sense because Jake Gyllenhaal came out and said Nick Fury recruits Mysterio. He said that. He's like, Nick Fury like recruits me to like help Spider-Man or whatever. I think that's Chameleon. I think they're in it together. I think.
Yeah, because it would be kind of weird to come out and say that, but not be like there's something else.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly. I think Nick Fury is disguised as the Chameleon is disguised as Nick Fury, and I think he recruits Mysterio so they can work together and kind of like profit off of the hero thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mysterio is just a full blown hero. There's just no way.
And we're definitely not the first people to come up with this.
No,
theory. This is everywhere.
This is a theory that has a lot of validity to it. But I will say this though, Jake Gyllenhaal, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome casting.
I really like his outfit too.
Oh, it's ripped straight out of the comics, 100%. And he even has the fishbowl, baby. Not only does he have the fishbowl, he also has the green cloud that he rides on. I'm like, they're not going to make him ride on the green cloud, are they? They did. I was like, yes. And for those of you who don't know, Mysterio in the comics, he's like an illusionist. So he uses like technology and like special effects to almost appear super like a hero. Yeah. So, one thing also is that Jake Gyllenhaal has been really known to always turn down a lot of superhero films just because he didn't feel like it was right for him. So this is interesting that he chose this one. Mm-hmm. So
Mysterio is personally my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh, so he's awesome.
This is awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, yeah, I think he's super underrated, honestly. Another thing I want to mention too is that there are other villains in this film, quote unquote villains. Now, here's something. Okay. The villains in this film are supposedly the elementals, right? Now I'm going to show you my geek knowledge here, okay?
Oh, here we go.
But I know this, but I'm looking this up just so I can get their names right, because like one of them's like Zephyr, Hellfire, or whatever, all that stuff. I just want to get this right here. Okay, so as you know in the trailer for Far From Home, there's a fire guy, there's like an earth sandy guy, there's a water guy, and there's an air guy, and you can see Spider-Man gliding through the air as the air is like lightning and stuff. Those are supposedly the elementals, and in the comics, the elementals are like D-list super villains.
Yeah.
Who have the power of earth, wind, water, fire, And it's Hellfire, obviously that's the fire. Hydron, that's the water. And then Magnum is the guy, who has earth. And then Zephyr is the air.
Yep.
So they're taking that, but here's what I think they're doing. They're taking the team, but they're replacing it with other more A-list characters with the same powers. So, I don't know, you get what I'm saying? So they're replacing Hydron with Hydro-Man, who's a more popular Spider-Man villain with the same powers. And
then Sandman.
Sandman is replacing Magnum with the Earth powers. Zephyr, I don't know. And then Hellfire is being replaced by Molten Man, who is also a really popular
Some cheesy-ass names.
I know, right? But here's the craziest part that also adds validity to this, dude. When Hydro Man is attacking, there's like a license plate, or no, there's a boat, right? That says ASM 121 or whatever the number is. And if you look it up, Amazing Spider-Man number 121 is the first appearance of Hydro Man. And then the same thing with Molten Man. There's a freaking license plate.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm being dead serious. There's a license plate that says ASM 2865. And if you look it up, Amazing Spider-Man number 28, 1965, first appearance of Molten Man.
Are you fucking serious?
So it's like, dude, that's how...
Did people look this up?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. And so I understand what they're doing. They don't want just some randos to be the elementals or whatever. So what they did was they took the elementals and then took A to B list characters, Spider-Man villains, and then made them the elementals. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know how I necessarily feel about that, because there's a part of me that feels like Hydro Man, Sandman, Molten Man, they all have man too at the end of them.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that feels like these are not real people, that they're just illusions created by Mysterio, Are they literally just monsters, or are they real people working with Mysterio?
Is the destruction real, though?
Yeah, the destruction's probably real, but not the villains. But, because, Hydro Man is kind of a goofy villain, but, like, if Sandman's a classic Spider-Man villain. If they turn Sandman just into, like, an illusion created by Mysterio, I'd be like, that's kind of lame. Like, because I want Sandman to be, like, a real person. you know? So, if they were just illusions about Mysterio, I would have rather them keep it the D-list, like, rando characters that no one really knows, rather than replacing them with, like, A to B-list villains from the Spider-Man lore.
They probably understand that, too. I don't think they'd do that.
Yeah, I don't think they do that either, but, I mean, let's go back to Iron Man 3 for a second, and just remember what they did to the Mandarin.
Yep. You know what? Yeah, but they learned from their mistakes,
That's true. They saw the backlash that got. Mm-hmm. Personally, I would like to see Sandman and Hydro Man be actual characters and not just illusions created by Mysterio. Or they could be actual people that Mysterio like hired or something like that. You know, we'll see. But
I mean, we didn't even answer the question. Does this look good?
Oh, I think I said,
it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah. I love the story.
I feel like we just jumped right into like, oh, this is what we think was happening.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I really like this trailer. I think it looks better than Homecoming. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah. I agree.
It looks like it has a bigger budget. Homecoming was a little grounded, which is fine. But I feel
friendly neighborhood.
Yeah, friendly neighborhood, and I feel like this is bigger scale, and I would like to see Spider-Man.
This is a school trip, Spider-Man.
That's right. So this is what Far From Home means. Oh, and also, you didn't remember, but you know Aunt May found out at the end of Homecoming that
I did forget. Yeah.
Yeah, but you remember now because it ended like with what the fuck, and then it like.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
But she's cool with it though, so I think Child Protective Services has to come in there because Aunt May, you're kind of an enabler. Aunt Bay though.
Aunt Bay.
You know. I also really like the score too.
Oh yeah.
You know.
They've been picking it up on that.
Yeah,
so.
dude.
They stopped. I feel like they stopped using like tep music.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, they did technically. They're using their own tep like because didn't you hear Spider-Man? Yeah. So they're using that.
Yeah, but like you're right. Like that's the thing. Marvel always adapts to like they realized they had a villain problem. They're like, we need to fix that, and then they realized they had a music problem, and then they fix that.
Yeah, so let's hope that they can continue to do the whole villain thing, right? Let's hope that the trailer is not the best part of the soundtrack.
Yes. I'm looking forward to seeing.
Because doing one villain right or like two villains maybe, that's not fixing the problem.
Right. I'm looking forward to what they do with it, though.
Yes.
Like I said, Jake Gyllenhaal, that's what I'm most excited about.
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yeah. Oh, can I tell you something, though, that I did like in this trailer, but I just don't like in general?
Okay.
I liked the whole thing with MJ and Peter, obviously. I mean, it's classic.
Yeah.
It annoys me, though, that it's not Mary Jane. It's fine that they wanted to make Zendaya Mary Jane. That's totally fine. I don't care that Mary Jane is black.
Like the personality is different?
No, it's not the personality is different. It's that they didn't make her Mary Jane. Her name's like Michelle Jones. Michelle Jones, like that's it.
Oh.
And she goes by MJ. So it's like, if you're going to make Zendaya MJ, either fully commit or make her an original character. Don't do like this in-between thing.
See, I always thought it was weird that they named her Mary Jane, given the fact that it's Mary Jane.
You know what? That's probably why they changed it. But I don't mind that. I love the fact that Zendaya is Mary Jane. Michelle Jones, MJ, whatever. It's weird to me that they didn't fully commit to making her MJ. Instead, they made her like a semi-original character with traits of MJ, and I'm like, why are you doing like this in-between thing? Like, just make her
for defense purposes.
Yeah, just make her Mary Jane. Just go for it. That's what I wish they did because I love Zendaya. So Zendaya.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby, she's pride. But yeah, I like her and Peter together. I think it's really quirky.
Yeah,
I love it. Oh, and Flash Thompson at the end made me laugh. Because that's from the comics. Flash Thompson hates Peter Parker, but he loves Spider-Man. He's like, yeah, he ain't no Spider-Man, though. He's awesome. Like, he has the dopest suit, and he looks out in the neighborhood.
Yep.
What's up, dickwad? I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
What do you think they're going to censor that in the theatrical trailer as?
The dickwad?
Yeah, because they're censoring that in the theater trailer.
Oh, God, I didn't even think about that.
You want to see something freaking weird? What did I see recently? I saw some movie in the theater recently.
And you're all over the place today.
I know, right? Oh, I saw Glass, right?
Okay.
I saw Glass, and I saw the trailer for Happy Death Day to You, right?
Okay.
In the trailer, on the internet, there's a shot, just a clip where she goes like that with her shirt. She like pulls it down and it says FML, fuck my life.
Yeah.
She's like, haha, that's funny. Just a quick clip. In theater trailer.
Oh no.
It was OMG.
What?
I'm like, wait a second. But there was a shot in the, like, you know, like 30 seconds before with a girl like having like blood pour out of her mouth, like whatever. And I'm like, so that's okay. But FML on the shirt, that's not okay.
Yeah, they definitely have an issue with making trailers or whatever, censoring trailers.
That was just so strange to me because it's like, she's like FML, but nope, OMG.
That's
what?
fucking dumb, dude.
That is so weird. So you know,
it's so insignificant.
And they did it with the Hellboy trailer too. The you know the it was basically the Red Band trailer where that dude gets sliced in half and like Hellboy's blowing off heads or whatever. That was changed in the theatrical trailer too. Naturally. So I wonder what they're gonna change this dickwad line to, because they're not gonna say that before like frickin', you know, Happy Feet 3 or whatever's coming out. You know, they're not gonna be like, "What's up, dickwad?" You know.
Yeah.
You'll be like, "What's up, stupid?
Dummy head."
What's up, dummy head?" Yeah, right.
That's one of my favorite insults, dude. I love it. It's an insult to yourself.
One of the best. I love it. I love it when you watch television and they have the censored versions of things, and it's just the worst. I remember I was watching Pearl Harbor on AMC, and Ben Affleck was like, "What are you talking about, you son of a witch?" And it was the most obvious overdub I have ever seen.
It's so funny, dude.
Oh my god. Oh, shrimp! Yeah. What the
List time!
No, we got. What are our conclusions on Far From Home?
We said we want to see it.
Yeah, we want to see it, and it looks
amazing.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You pointed at me and shit. Like felt like on the spot. Like
Spider-Man pun. You know?
Oh god. Really?
Yeah. Amazing or spectacular.
Oh my god! Fucking list time, boy.
So I'm just gonna stall the list for right now. I'm just not even gonna go to it just because I don't want to. Because you don't tell me what to do on my podcast.
Oh,
bitch.
that's true. Damn.
You don't tell me what to do. This is my shit. This is my shit.
Dude, you were rowdy today.
No, not at all, dude. This is a good podcast. I'm on it today, baby. I'm on it. I don't know about you. I feel like
I'm shitting the bed.
You're shitting the bed here. No, I'm joking. I don't know. List time. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It's I get to say when we do it.
All right.
This is all a joke, by the way. People listening, we have this rapport where we joke around with each other.
Ha 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 ha.
Ha.
All right. You want to do rock paper scissors?
Oh yeah.
How many fucking honorable mentions do you have? I'm assuming you have 100.
I do have like 100. 2, 3. Hold on, let me count these.
6.
17.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna be a lot.
Yeah, I have 17. For those of you who don't know, we're doing top 5 westerns.
Top 5 westerns as chosen by Nico.
As chosen by me. My top 5 though is going to be kind of shocking, I think.
Nutty.
No, it's not.
Nutty.
You expect it to be nutty, but it's not. That's the thing that makes it nutty.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like,
you just said it's unexpected.
It's unexpected because you think I would do like these crazy, like obscure type of.
Oh, so
but it's not.
Okay.
You know,
I was like, wait, I basically just said the same thing as you, just a different word.
No, yeah, you know, it's you know.
Okay.
So you want to do some rock paper scissors, or let's just go.
Yeah, you do because you have 7 fucking teams. Jesus.
All right, and how much do you have? 6.
6.
All right, I'll just do 4 here. Rio Bravo.
Okay.
The Searchers, of course. That's surprised. You might be surprised it's not on my list, but I have not seen The Searchers in a while, so I feel like it deserves a rewatch. Unforgiven. I just saw that.
Yep.
Now this one, you're going to be like, how the hell is this not on your list? Because I talk about how this is one of my favorites. Once Upon a Time in the West.
Okay.
You're like, how is that not on the list? Because, again, I haven't seen it in so long. I feel like I really want my top 5 to be fresh in my brain so I can really talk about them, you know?
Gotcha.
And then Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Okay, before I get started on mine, I just gotta say one thing. New westerns are fucking great.
They are. They're fantastic.
They're fan-fucking-tastic. And they're constantly being made. They're just being made, like, in the indie realm. There's still big actors that want to be a part of it because westerns are, you know, like the foundation of film, pretty much. So, I'm going to start with a weird one. Zhaozha. a perplexing Western about Viggo Mortensen searching for his daughter through the desert. It's weird, beautifully shot, and because not a lot of people have seen it, I haven't been able to talk in depth with anybody about my conclusion of the film, because it's a very surreal experience.
Yeah.
And this was actually the first film that I reviewed on YouTube when I started doing YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, so...
Sweet.
There's that, too.
Awesome.
Great movie. Love that movie.
You want to do another one, or should I go?
If you name us rapid fire.
All right. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, sorry. 3:10 to Yuma, the remake, because I actually haven't seen the original, believe it or not, surprisingly. The Shootist, John Wayne's last film, and also a young Ron Howard is in it. It's great. Hang 'em High. I know a lot of people are not fans of that film. I love that film. Okay, I don't care what people say. And then here's a modern one, The Salvation, with Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wanted to see that one. I never got to. Next up, I have The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Yep.
It's a deeply saddening tale about tainted legacy. It's probably the most poetic Western of the decade, or of the, not the decade, probably the 21st century. Incredible acting prowess used to discuss gossip's way of altering facts. You can never trust authenticity of word of mouth, or for the film that you're viewing, for that matter.
Is that it?
Yeet!
All right, cool. Sorry. Here's another modern one, the remake of Magnificent Seven.
Okay.
I think it's a good action romp. It might not be as deep as the original, but I think Antoine Fuqua did a damn good job, and it was a great tribute film. The next one is The Keeping Room. That's another modern Western film about three girls who are attacked by not Union soldiers. Why am I blanking right now? Confederate soldiers.
The other one. The other one.
Yeah. They're trapped in a house, and it's kind of like a home It's like a home invasion Western. It's a really good one. It used to be on Netflix. I think they took it off. So The Keeping Room is good. Here's another modern one. In a Valley of Violence, Ty West's.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, Ty West's.
Who's in
Western.
that one?
It was Ethan Hawke and John Travolta.
Yeah. I thought that was a weird, because I knew
it's
John
like
Travolta
it's like John Wick in the West. It's almost the exact same plot, honestly.
Okay.
But it's very good. Here's another film from 1954, super obscure, and it's not that amazing, but it has beautiful cinematography. Beautiful. Some of the best Western cinematography I've ever seen, which is Last of the Comanches. It's a total obscure Western film, Technicolor Western film from 1954. But dude, I'm telling you, the silhouette work in that film is breathtaking. It's so good. And then I'm just going to list them all off here. I got 3 spiritual Westerns, which is Logan, Hell or High Water, and Zorro. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. So I got a Bone Tomahawk, a hybrid of Green Inferno type horror and John Ford character wit and sincerity. Both influences are authentic, having just as much heart as dismay. Watching bad things ensue to these characters is like watching John Wayne be defiled, which makes it just all that much more effective.
Right.
For those interested in audacious cinema, you should watch this movie. It's fucking weird. It's fucking great.
I have avoided that film strictly because I'm not good with gore, and I heard that movie has probably the most goriest scene ever.
Probably.
It's
real fucked up.
Is it? Oh god.
But it's so fucking haunting, dude.
Oh god.
And then I got these ones. I've definitely named them before. Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More.
Yep.
High Noon, a film about tying up loose ends. Before Will can start a happy new life, he must wait till noon when Frank Miller arrives from the train. I like how his name's Frank Miller.
Yeah, right.
This film puts an emphasis on time. Many shots contain the time in the background, counting down to Will's impending doom. While he preps for their arrival, we get to see every tick build up suspense until the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse arrive.
Oh, damn.
Great movie. And then this one I actually watched for this. Made it on my honorable mentions. It's actually very good. It's called The Big Country. It's a film about cowardice and masculinity. Your reputation shouldn't mean as much to you as knowing what you are. It stars Gregory Peck, Charlton Heston, Burl Ives, and Gene Simmons.
Nice.
The first hour can't seem to figure out how the feud between the two men over land connects to the theme, but the last hour shapeshifts every suspenseful sequence into a thematic test for its characters. And it was real fucking good. Real fucking tremendous ending.
All right. Sick, dude.
That is my honorable mentions.
All right. All right, now list time. Let's do a rock, paper. You ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Dude, you win every time.
Every time, dude.
I feel like you always pick scissors, too.
I know, right?
I always pick paper.
That's because everyone picks rock first. That's everyone's, like, friggin' thing to do.
Okay.
All right. My number 5 is the 1960 remake of Seven Samurai. The Magnificent Seven. Of course, this is a remake of Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. It stars Yul Brynner, freaking Steve McQueen, Brad Dexter, James Corbin, Robert Vaughn. It's a fantastic movie about 7 lone gunslingers who try to defend an oppressed Mexican village, and it is awesome. Dude, I think it holds up with Seven Samurai, and it kind of stands on its own, to the point where this remake had its own remake. So people almost view this film as a separate entity, and I can see why. The performances are fantastic. The cinematography is great. The tension is great, especially toward the end. This film has an amazing climax, and it goes against Western tropes and tripes of having, like, sort of a semi-happy ending. Of course, there's a little bit of that, but a lot of the stuff in this Western kind of happens. It's kind of a grim Western, if you really think about it. And for that time, 1960s, to have this happen to these characters was actually kind of groundbreaking, you know? And I can't spoil it, obviously, what happens. But, something happens to these characters where you're like, wow, that's actually kind of shocking. And it still is shocking. I remember watching the remake of this Magnificent Seven, and they kind of did the same thing with the ending. And it's still an ending that's unexpected, even to this day. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool that they had the balls to do this in 1960, you know. And let's talk about that score, though. That score is one of the best scores of all time.
Yeah, there's something about that score that's weird, though. It's like, it almost feels like there's no consequence.
It makes
like, it's not threatening whatsoever.
No, but I think that makes it better. I think that kind of goes with the film, though. It makes the ending even more shocking.
Sure. Yeah. No, I feel you. That's why I thought it was weird.
Yeah. But weird in a good way.
Weird in a good way. Yeah. Sure.
And also, some of the lines are absolutely, like, iconic, dude. So far, so good. It's all I'll say. You know. It's fantastic.
Yeah, they do a really good job at individualizing each character, so you'll definitely remember them to the very.
No, exactly. Very, everyone is developed. Everyone has their kind of own personality.
Yeah, their own display of talent.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really cool because back in that time, you know, kind of Akira Kurosawa did the same thing. It was cool to have like 7 different people kind of have their own talents be utilized in a different way.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. And Yul Brynner is freaking iconic for this role, and he reprised it, I think, in 2 sequels, and Westworld.
Westworld, he literally just plays... He has the same outfit and everything.
No, he is that character, I think. Like, that's legit.
Well, yeah, because they technically based him off of...
Yeah. Which is super cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
That's one Western film I want to see. Like, sci-fi Western, I really want to see.
Good.
I have not seen the original Westworld, so...
You haven't even seen the TV show.
No, I haven't. I don't have HBO.
I
don't have HBO. So go ahead.
All right, my number 5. I'm gonna do it to you, but I don't care. Django.
Oh god.
Django Unchained. You know, I actually do like the original one too.
Yeah.
But that movie kind of climaxed a little early for me.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like your love life. Oh!
You are so rowdy, dude. You woke up with so much energy today, which is funny because like the outside would like make you think otherwise.
Yeah, dude. No, it's because I'm on it today, dude. This is
dreary today, dude.
No, dude, I am on it, bro. This is like you gotta be
happy for you.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you.
I am on it.
Django, it's more of the same from Tarantino, but can you really say that when the product is still unpredictable and unconventional? Tarantino's altered history still holds on to the brutality of this time period, but dishes it back with graphic novel-esque justice. It's a bloodthirsty good time. Make no mistake, this is violence for a good cause, vicariously viewing what should have been. I think this movie is fucking awesome. It has a lot of movie references still. That's something that he always does, and he even has the original Django in it. You knew that though, right?
Yeah, that Nero.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When he has the conversation with him, he's like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
The D is silent. It's so good.
The D is silent, hillbilly.
Yeah, dude.
Different guy, but
that's a fun as fuck movie.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not crazy about it, but
I am not crazy about it. I am not crazy about that Western. I don't even really... It was funny. I'm not the only one who doesn't even really consider that a Western. My friend asked me, he's like, what is your favorite Western? And I said, this answer. And then I'm like, I don't know how Django was brought up, but I'm like, yeah, I know you really like Django, blah, blah, blah. And my friend was like, I don't even consider that a Western, though. Like, that's, like, such a Tarantino film that the Tarantino overshadows the Western. And I'm like, thank you!
But that's like...
Like, someone said it.
I mean, that's kind of like with a lot... I don't know, that's with a lot of movies. Where sometimes it takes... it's on the back burner, almost. But it's like even The Big Country, which is a film that takes place entirely in the West. Mm-hmm. It's still kind of like a drama.
No, yeah, for sure. I understand. I actually like The Hateful Eight more than Django, personally. Which is kind of surprising.
Oh!
Yeah. So, anyway.
Because it's like an Alfred Hitchcock type movie.
That's kind of what it is. It's like Reservoir Dogs in the Old West, which I thought was pretty sweet. All right, my number 4 is I'm Your Huckleberry. You know what it is? You don't know? Oh, okay. I thought you would know what that reference was. That was Tombstone from 1993.
Okay.
There have been many other versions of this story, like the gunfight at the OK Corral. There's been a lot of Wyatt Earp stories and Doc Holliday stories made into films, but I think this really encapsulates the whole gunfight at the OK Corral story. It might not be the most historically accurate type thing. It kind of portrays Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and the other two Earp brothers as kind of like heroes, like lone gunslinger heroes, but in reality, they were sort of more morally ambiguous, and that's kind of in the film, but not as much as it was in real life. But a lot of Westerns like to paint their heroes with moral ambiguous strokes, especially with Sergio Leone kind of pioneering with The Man with No Name. He really pioneered the morally ambiguous hero. This kind of return westerns to their form. It has great action. It has great lines. One of the best villains with Boots. What's his name? Boots Riley is his name, right?
Boots Riley's the director.
No, not Boots Riley. What the hell is his name? No, Powers Booth. Sorry, Powers Booth is his name, which is such an awesome name, by the way. He has a great villain. He's a great villain. Again, Val Kilmer has his best performance as Doc Holliday, and Kurt Russell has an amazing performance as Wyatt Earp. It's really cool. It's action-packed and it's fast-moving. It's definitely a Western that kind of suits the modern audiences,
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the coolest Val Kilmer's ever been.
Oh, 100%. I'm Your Huckleberry. That's his, catchphrase.
Yeah. I forgot. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I've been to Tombstone, believe it or not. I've been there. It's really cool.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, dude. So, again, it might not be historically accurate, and it definitely might be more modern of a Western, more where emphasis is more on the action rather than the drama of a Western. But you know what? That's what I like sometimes, and I think this film really has that story down pat, bro. And the cast too, fantastic, dude. Bill Paxton, Sam Elliott, Val Kilmer, and freaking Kurt Russell, dude.
Yeah,
they are badass. As soon as you see their silhouettes walking in their black coats just down the freaking road, you know what it is.
Good stuff, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just got to tell you something. I've been favoring new Westerns.
Me too. I love new Westerns, dude.
Yeah, so I got to do it. I'm going to do it again with my number 4.
Mm-hmm.
The Proposition.
Okay.
Guy Pearce plays Charlie, given a proposition by local lawmen to hunt down and kill his older brother charged with raping and murdering. Or his younger brother will be killed. Charlie's life of violence is seen to be inescapable and causes him to face a moral dilemma. Mm-hmm. The strength of top-notch Leone films with just as much intellect to it. It's unflinching, uncompromising, and it contains raw emotion. It's one of the finest directed westerns of the 21st century, and it has a really fucking good soundtrack from Nick Cave.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
That's good.
Have you seen it?
I have not, actually.
I'm actually kind of surprised you haven't.
Well, you said it's a modern one? You told me about the Proposition before.
I think it's before 2010. I think it's 2006 maybe. So it's pretty modern.
Here, let me look this up. I just want to look this up real quick. 2005.
2005?
Yeah, I have not seen this film, but I remember you telling me that you really liked this film.
And it was actually shown to me by Brian. So that's why I also figured you had seen it, because he probably showed it to me.
I have heard of it from either you or him, but I have not seen it. Or, you know what? You know what's weird is that sometimes I see movies, dude.
And you'll forget?
I just forget I see them. Like Fistful of Dynamite, for example. Or Duck You Sucker. Duck You Sucker is another title for it. I saw that film. I saw it. I cannot remember like a single thing of that film though, but I remember seeing it.
No, I feel you. That's definitely happened to me many a time.
So you know what? I might have seen this film because I'm looking at the poster right now, and I remember holding a DVD with that poster thing in my hand. I might have seen this film actually, dude. Weirdly, point is, if I did see it, I do not.
That's
remember.
Unfortunate, dude.
It is unfortunate, but it might have been great. I don't know. I might have not seen it. No idea.
Who the fuck knows? Question mark.
Who the fuck knows, dude? I've been having that with a lot. There was another film, the same thing happened, where I'm like, holy crap, I did see that film, and I just can't remember a single thing from it. That happens. It's not even saying that that's a bad film.
No.
It's just, you forget.
That's happened to me so many times where I seen a movie and I still remember it being good, but I can't remember a single fucking scene from it.
Same.
That's unfortunate. And that's probably a bad sign, too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's my number 4.
All right, my number trace is A Fistful of Dollars.
Okay.
The first in the trilogy of the No Name trilogy by Sergio Leone. This film has probably one of the best opening sequences of all time. One of the best character introductions of all time, right next to Indiana Jones. This is fantastic. This established the spaghetti western into the mainstream norm, and it also established frickin' Clint Eastwood as the badass, morally ambiguous character that he would soon become iconic for. And this really established not only did it go against most of the genre tropes of that time for westerns, but it also reestablished some of the best genre tropes that we are still copying today.
Yeah, I totally agree.
100%, dude. I have a giant poster of A Fistful of Dollars in my room, and I love it.
I think I have one too sitting around where it's like him around a lasso.
Oh yeah, I don't have that one.
Or a noose, I mean.
Mm-hmm. I found mine in the weirdest spot. I found mine at a record store.
Really?
Yeah, I was in Florida, and I found it at a record store, and I'm just like, why is this here?
Dude, record stores have like weird shit.
But that was like the only movie poster they had, which was strange. Yeah, everything else was music, and then they just had Fistful of Dollars, and I'm like, cool. I have not seen that poster anywhere though, the one I have. So, good on you, record store. Yeah, Fistful of Dollars, my number 3.
Number 3, good choice. Mm-hmm. Excellent choice. My number 3 is it's The Searchers.
Cool.
Western in an episodic form, leaving one journey and heading right to the next. Tackling race relations, Ethan sets out on a trek to find the last survivor of his family during an attack delivered by the Comanches. Wayne gives arguably his best performance, I think. Mm-hmm. Sequences were more extreme for its time, and in turn the characters become more complex due to the nature of the trauma. This was probably the most ambitious jump, throwing Wayne from self-righteous, selfless gunslinger to a man with countless faults, and could be seen as an anti-hero. For these reasons, The Searcher is considered one of the best westerns of all time, and more so than that, one of the best films of all time.
Oh yeah, it was huge to see John Wayne go into a role like that.
Yeah,
that's when he went against his own archetype of this like morally righteous person, like you said. And you're right, it tackles things like race, because like he is a freaking racist in that film.
He is.
He's not someone you actually kind of like. For most of
that kind of tension, that race tension, means more to him than his own blood in a way.
Yeah,
which is it's real fucked up.
And it has one of the most iconic closing shots of all time.
Yes, that's what I was referring to about leaving the one journey to go to the next.
Yeah, it's a bookend shot, and that shot too has been copied countless times in other films.
Yep.
All right. Is that it?
Yes.
All right. My number 2 is the tie.
Oh, shit.
Between True Grit and the remake of True Grit.
Really?
Really.
That's sick.
I love them both, dude. I cannot believe it. Because, remakes are typically not as good as the original. I think this is a very rare exception. Obviously, John Wayne plays Rooster Cogburn in the original, and Jeff Bridges plays Rooster Cogburn in the remake. This is going to be weird talking about 2 films at once. How do I do this?
But it's the same movie.
It's basically the same movie, but the remake takes it in a much more grittier fashion. It's a much more gritty film. It stars, It's about Rooster Cogburn, who's basically tasked by this little girl to kind of avenge her father's death. And it's that's what it is. But during this journey, it was just, I don't want to call it like a road trip movie because that's a disservice to this film, but it is about these 3 characters growing closer together as they go on this journey to basically avenge this the death of this little girl's father. You know, so Haley Steinfeld is in the remake, and I can't remember the actress who was in the original, but they're both very good. They both take it in a very different direction, because Haley Steinfeld in the remake was very stoic. She was very stonewalled. She was raised to be that way. Very mature for her age. Where I remember talking to my friend about it when the film came out, and he said he didn't like that because he liked the original more because it starts with Maddie crying. Like, it shows her crying. It shows the shell breaking, you know? So it was really... But I kind of view it like... I view the authenticity in both performances, you know?
Like, one's trying to stay strong.
One's trying to stay strong. The other one is also trying to stay strong, but she has a softer shell, you know? And I like both interpretations. And that's what I like about the remake, was that it really did take these characters in a different direction. Obviously,
very small liberties with
Yes. And Rooster Cogburn in the remake was a lot more gritty and a lot more... you know, less morally righteous, to steal your words, as John Wayne was, you know. Is absolutely fantastic, dude. I love both of these films, and it really is gritty. That's what it's about, dude. It's about the grit of the Old West, dude. It's about the grit of the Old West, and that's what I love about it. And also has great comedic moments, some really great moments of tension, and it's just a great Western, both of them. But they both follow basically the exact same story. They end very differently, though. I will say that the ending of the remake is very different than the original. The original is kind of like the typical Western ending, whereas the remake ends on a much more realistic kind of sense of the word. And the ending kind of leaves you without closure in the remake, and it's kind of sad, but that's life.
Yeah,
it's that's the grit of life.
It's definitely, it shows the change in storytelling over the years, over the decades.
Yeah, it does, and that's the grit of life, man. And I love both of them for different reasons, but at the same time, I love them both for the same reasons. So that's why they're tied for number 2 for me.
Number 2. My number 2 is technically The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. But I've definitely talked about this on 2 lists for sure. Okay. The trilogy list and the score list. So instead, I bumped everything up so technically my number 5 would have been my number 6, and so on and so forth. So my number 3, which is now I'm substituting for my number 2 to talk about, because I want to just talk about different films.
Okay.
The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's a great one, man.
Of course, this has to be one of my favorites, because it's fucking James Stewart, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's Jimmy Stew.
Jimmy Stew. This film brings both worlds of justice together, laws created and upheld by men, and the laws created and upheld by the best gunslinger in the land. Stewart wanted to be legitimate and become the symbol of justice for the city, dismissing violence and ultimately civilizing the West. Wayne could kill all the bad guys he wants, but that wouldn't stop the root of all evil. So, this is the type of relationship that makes films like The Dark Knight go above and beyond. Batman knows he could stop the Joker, but the cities need a face like Harvey Dent to assure them that everything will be okay. So, I mean, this is the type of relationship that we've seen before in many other films. And this movie is kind of like, it's like about the passage of time. Like, how people that built the foundation of a city can go forgotten. Can be forgotten, and it's kind of like talks about that. It also talks about legacy, which I brought up in the assassination of Jesse James. It's kind of like, you know, shooting somebody, a bad guy, should be seen as a good thing, but maybe the way you carry it is different.
Yeah,
or something.
And
like
I'm
that.
looking it up here. The movie was actually shot in black and white, even though color was available.
Oh yeah,
and it was an intentional decision by John Ford to basically show a more realistic, more gritty view of the West.
Yeah.
You know, and a less romantic, kind of optimistic view of it, as many other.
I also think that works for. I think it would have been interesting if they would have used like Technicolor for like the present time, like the 25 years later versus, you know, black and white. That would have been interesting. That would have been a crazy artistic decision. Yeah. Did you know? I'm looking this right here. I didn't know this. Did you know that Sergio Leone called it his favorite film by John Ford? Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Oh yeah. Damn. So I love that movie. I actually at one point was like, oh my god, this is my favorite, and then I kind of, I don't know, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly snuck back up on me. Okay. Well, I watched this movie yesterday, actually, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Really? Yeah, I was like, I could watch another one and prep for the list a little bit better, or I could just watch one that I love. So when you say The Good, the Bad, the Ugly pushed you out, I'm guessing that's your number 1. No, that's my number 2. Man Shot Liberty Valance would technically be number 3.
Okay.
So I did it a little bit differently on here. That's what I'm going to kind of do because I don't want to talk about the same movies over and over again. That's just
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I want to maybe open up dialogue about something else.
Yeah, exactly. Because like that's what we did with our end of the year list sort of thing.
Yeah, it's just going to get stale if we just keep.
Yeah, if we just keep talking about the same thing. What was that one list we did where we just literally talked about? Was it scores? I think no. Can't remember, but there was one list where we just talked about the exact same films, like the entire time.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid. So we're adapting.
Yes.
I know what your number 1 is. You know what my number 1 is, right?
Well,
Obviously.
What's my number 1? Say it.
The Good, Bad, the Ugly.
Hell yeah, baby! It's Good, Bad, and the Ugly. This is the 3rd in Sergio Leone's No Name trilogy. It is fantastic. It takes place during kind of the bookend of the Civil War, and it is absolutely so good. When they established Clint Eastwood's no-name character and his morally ambiguous character in Fistful of Dollars, this film perfected it, dude. And it also has an amazing supporting cast like Lee Van Cleef, who plays an amazing freaking villain, dude.
He's
one of the best.
So good at villains, dude.
Best, dude. And this movie is a masterclass in tension building and grit and real Western kind of anti-heroism.
Yeah.
And
one of the best climaxes in film.
One of the best climaxes ever. Straight up. Not just in a Western, but ever. And let's just talk about Ennio Morricone's score, too, for a second.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. We did our favorite scores of all time, and I think this was my number 3.
Yep.
Yes, it was my number 3, yeah. And this was fantastic. I mean, he deserved so much more recognition for this score because this score is iconic, dude. And it makes it whole, this film.
It does.
It makes it whole.
I mean, because you need something to listen to while you're seeing these pans and setting up the scenes and stuff like that.
But another thing too about Sergio Leone is he understood not only he was the master of tension building. First of all, I mean that just shows with Once Upon a Time in the West as well, where it's tension is just a rubber band that you keep stretching and stretching and stretching until it snaps, and he was the master of doing that. Although there might be one director who I feel might have done it a little better, Hitchcock. That's all I'm saying. But for a Western, this guy was absolutely amazing.
Unrivaled.
I mean, what can I say about Good? How many times have we talked about Good, Bad, and the Ugly on this? I'm starting to get sick of it.
Yeah, exactly. No.
I almost picked something else.
I completely understand. That's actually why, because I knew you were going to put it on there.
I know. I almost picked something else to put as my number 1 just because I'm I want to talk about something different, but I would be betraying my own list if I didn't put Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah, that's why you gotta give it the credit, but you also have to be hey, this is another one that I think people should watch.
When people say spaghetti western, this is the film they're talking about.
This is the film.
Yep. You're talking about. If you want to shoot, don't talk. That's all I'm saying.
What's my number 1?
Your number 1 is Once Upon a Time in the West.
It is. Which actually I have not talked about. The only time I brought it up was when I said it was my 3rd favorite film of all time. I think. So
I need to rewatch that stat, dude.
Stat.
Yeah.
I honestly think it's the best movie. I watched both of them back to back to see which one I liked more. And this one definitely it did it. I don't know how. But even today, a Western hasn't outmatched the cool that Once Upon a Time possesses, with its opening sequence lasting 15 minutes, almost 15 minutes, spatially identifying the surrounding in great detail with an observant scope and constant pans. When the confrontation does start, the initial exchange is haunting. Did you bring a horse for me? Looks like we're shy one horse. You brought too many. That's so fucking good, dude. This is the first indicator that you're in for a wild ride, but it doesn't stop there. Every main character gets a 15-minute or so intro, bringing you into their world, and you could either sympathize for their cause, despise them with every fiber of your being, or be dazzled by their intensity. Henry Fonda was cast against his typecast as the villain and turned out to be one of my favorite villains in history. Actually, I do think he is my favorite villain.
Oh, damn.
As Frank. He is so good. He's so menacing, and he has that look. He has that look that should have been utilized as a sinister side of him for a long time.
Yeah.
Personally, I think this is the best shot Western by a mile. The best written plot lines and the perfect poetic climax for them. And a close second for best score, giving every character their own theme, cementing musically their cause. And just cinema practically just doesn't get better than this film. This is my third favorite film of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love it.
And the cast is amazing, too.
The cast is amazing.
Charles Bronson.
He's so
fantastic.
good, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't say much. I think Roger Ebert actually said he didn't really care for this movie. Like, he didn't not care for this. He gave it a 2.5 out of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason was it took him a while to, like, get what was going on or whatever. The movie just kind of, like, moves around. Doesn't really do anything. But that's part of the reason. Like, Charles Bronson's character is part of the reason because he doesn't say much.
Well, Charles Bronson's character, if I remember correctly, is sort of like the what's the word?
The victim.
He's the victim, but he's like I don't want to say the heart of the movie, but he's the thing that keeps the film grounded. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair.
You know? He's the one you kind of sympathize with.
Yes.
The most.
Yes.
So,
he's like the revenge thread of it.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to find out because you have to like really find it out through context. He's not a man who talks about it.
Right.
But no, this is so fucking cool, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our list.
That's our list. So now that's it, dude. You know what we're gonna talk about next, right?
Nothing.
Now we're gonna talk about recently seen. I was away. I'm like, what?
Sorry.
God, now we gotta do it again. We're gonna talk about recently seen.
No, I want to keep that. Don't fucking throw that away.
I won't throw it away.
Gold, dude. It's gold mine when I fuck it up, dude.
Yeah, it's a gold mine when we both mess it up. Okay, you mind if I pause this real quick? Because I'm gonna
take a leak.
Not gonna take a leak, but I feel like I need to get a little colder in here because it is toasty up
It is
here.
fucking hot, dude.
It is hot, baby. It is toasty.
Open the door.
Should we just start with a big one?
What's the big one?
Glass.
Do your thing.
Glass. M. Night
we're on here?
Shyamalan. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was it.
Damn.
Glass. M. Night Shyamalan's third entry into his East Rail 177 trilogy. That's what people are calling it. That's not what he calls it.
What the fuck? That's a mouthful.
Because I know, because of the train.
Too many syllables, dude.
That's Unbreakable and the standalone sequel Split. Now it's all together. And okay, when I was highly anticipating this film, okay, because I was rooting for Shyamalan. I don't like to diss film directors. I don't like to diss Shyamalan. Because I think the guy can make some really good films. The guy has made some great films, you know? So I was really rooting for this film. And overall, this film disappointed me. Big time.
Shocker.
The film, first of all, I texted you right after I came out of this film. I have never seen a film drop the ball this hard at the end of the film.
And I've been waiting patiently since then to know what the fuck happened.
Yes. Well, I can't really tell you without spoiling it.
You can tell me after the movie.
Here's the thing. Here's the crazy part, dude. First of all, this movie stars Bruce Willis, James McAvoy, and Samuel L. Jackson reprising their roles as David Dunn and Mr. Glass, and Kevin Wendell Crumb, a.k.a. the Beast, or the Horde, as he's also called. This film starts off really good. It starts off with a cool reintroduction to David Dunn's character and what he's been up to and what he's doing. And the first act ends with a really cool action scene that between the Beast and David Dunn that's actually filmed really well. And that's surprisingly filmed really well. Because, as you know, M. Night Shyamalan is not the best at filming action. You know, let me just look at The Last Airbender, you know what I mean? He's not the best at filming action. So when that action scene happened, and it was actually really well done, I was like, wow, okay, this is going to go somewhere. So, anyway, the acting is pretty good for the most part, especially for McAvoy, who steals the show. The cinematography by, what's his name, Michael Giononis or something, he's Greek. He really knows how to frame scenes and light them really well. He has a really cool style to him, and I really enjoy it. So the performances are good, the cinematography is good, and there are elements of genius in this film, dude. There are elements and questions asked within this film that are really cool and make you think, and I'm like, this is what I like the story to be about. The first act is set up, and it ends with a really cool fight scene. The second act, as you saw in the trailer, they're all in like a mental institution, which I thought was a really cool element. And it's kind of exploring the idea of superheroes and whether or not these characters really are superheroes. Because Sarah Paulson's character comes in and kind of says, no, these can be explained through science. You guys are not superheroes. This is a delusion. There are strong men in the circus who can lift just as much as you. Stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that's a really cool question to pose. And then they start doubting themselves, too. What the fuck? Am I a superhero? Am I not? That's great. I thought this was awesome. And at this point, I was thinking to myself, what are people not liking about this film? Is this going to be a film that I like and everyone else hates? Because I'm really liking what I'm seeing so far. There's a couple awkward moments of dialogue here and there. The classic Shyamalan overwriting. Like the as you know dialogue. Like, as you know, your wife died 7 years ago of leukemia. It's like, you Shyamalan, you don't need to.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. Shyamalan does that a lot where he overwrites and there's a lot of exposition. It's like, Shyamalan, don't tell us. Show us. And there are some scenes in here, I won't spoil that, where he does do that. And he uses visuals to show you how to feel instead of telling you how to feel. And a lot of times he's telling you how to feel. But for the most part, I could overlook it, right?
Okay.
So, M. Night was back, dude. New M. Night, the comeback M. Night was back, dude. It was like first down, 10 yards away from the touchdown. Freaking, he fucking spiraled that shit right into the end zone, right? It was like we were there, dude. Game, set, match, dude, done. And then old Shyamalan had to come back and intercept that shit, dude, because the ending was, in my opinion, abysmal. Dude, okay, when I say ending, I mean the third act. Okay, because the first two acts I thought were actually pretty great. And then the third act happens, and I'm like, what did you do? Why did you do this?
I have to know, dude.
First of all,
dying.
There is a twist. There is a twist, I won't spoil, that comes out of absolutely nowhere, and it just doesn't make sense. I understand what he was trying to do. I understand it because, again, he explains it because he has to, right?
But it's some dumb shit like the therapist is a superhero.
That's not the case, but you're not that far off. I'm being real. So I understand what he was trying to do because, again, he tells us, he explains what he's trying to do. So I get what you're trying to do, but it comes out of nowhere. There's no build up, and then it goes on for way too long, and I'm like, this just derailed everything. The East 177 or whatever it's called was derailed, bro. You derailed.
That actually did happen, though.
I know, it did.
It was foreshadowing.
Yeah. Okay. So, oh god, there's so much to talk about. Point is, the ending of the film is what really derailed it for me. Also, a couple other things that I didn't like. Bruce Willis, why is he still even acting?
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care about anything. I thought he would at least somewhat care about this film because this film is sort of tied to his legacy more than, like, I don't know, The Last Boy Scout or something. This film I feel like he would try because he's friends with Shyamalan. He doesn't care, dude. He sleepwalks through the entire performance. And in all honesty, David Dunn is kind of sidelined. So if you're expecting a real sequel to Unbreakable, David Dunn is actually kind of underutilized and kind of sidelined. There are many times in this film where you kind of forget he's in it. You're like, oh my god, like Bruce Willis hasn't been in this film for like 20 minutes, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. This really is kind of more Split-centric, Also, characters like Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Casey from Split, Bruce Willis's son from Unbreakable is back, and the mother from Unbreakable is also back, Mr. Glass's mom.
But do they even matter?
They are borderline useless in this film. They're borderline useless. They just show up to basically just stand around.
Yep.
And if you see the film, you know especially what I'm talking about. In the third act, they're just standing around. Like, what is the point of these characters? I will say also, James McAvoy, although he gives a great performance, it's not as subtle as it was in Split. I remember in Split, there's a scene in therapy, if you remember, where he changes personalities so subtly. And he's Dennis, but he's pretending to be Barry. And it's like a layer. It's like Inception of like DID. It's like insane, right? Mm-hmm. This one, when he changes a personality, he goes full blown like, yeah, exactly. Like there's a transition to every personality.
Like somebody flipped the channel.
Yeah, literally too, which I didn't mind the literally part, but it's kind of revealed in the trailer, but I still don't want to spoil it.
The light. Or
yeah, the light. Like they use lights to like kind of change his personality. So whenever there's a dangerous one, they flash him, and then he changes personalities. So that's like his weakness, right? So that part I thought was pretty cool. However, I don't know if this would be a spoiler, so I'm not going to say it. But there's a point where they could have utilized that technology toward the end, and they just don't. And in the back of my head, I was thinking, why are you guys not just doing the same thing you did in the beginning of the film?
Zapping his bitch ass.
Why aren't you zapping his bitch ass? Like, that's a plot hole, but whatever. I will say this, though. There was a really amazing scene a couple amazing scenes between the girl from Split and James McAvoy. Really tender moments with, like, really good dialogue, and that's the M. Night I want to see, dude.
But that's kind of weird, because it didn't feel tender by the end of that
No,
movie.
it didn't, but it works in this film, though. It kind of works, in my opinion. I mean, you might not feel that way when you see it.
If I see it.
But I thought that was actually some of the heart of the film, was her character and him, even though she was kind of useless. There's shades of greatness in this film, dude. That's what pisses me off. This film is not bad. It's not horrible. It's just frustrating, because the first two acts, in my opinion, were really good, and then the third act just derailed everything. And I've been looking up reviews, and that's what a lot of people have been saying, that the ending ruined it for them. And I think when they say ending, they mean the last third act, because the climax, you've seen it in the trailer, you can kind of assume that there's going to be a big fight scene, right?
Yep.
That, again, that's M. Night Shyamalan going back to his thing of, I don't know how to film action. That action scene is filmed very poorly, which is very strange, because the beginning action scene was actually pretty well done, and then he tries to do like a bigger action scene, and it's just not well done. It's just not filmed well. It's just filmed very awkwardly, and there's a lot of awkward moments, awkward dialogues. There's character revelations there's a couple twists, actually. There's a character revelation that comes out of absolute nowhere that just didn't need to be there. And the thing about Shyamalan is, like, when Unbreakable came out, comic books were a niche thing, and they didn't want Unbreakable to be marketed as a comic book thing, because they viewed that as a detriment to the film's marketing. And that's crazy how times have changed now, right?
Yeah.
So when that film came out, it was sort of a new idea to explore comic books in a real literary, artistic light. To be like, no, this is a parallel to the real world, and that this is like an allusion to the real world suffering of this and human consciousness and stuff. It was really cool to see comic books portrayed as something deeper than what they are on the surface, right? Mm-hmm. He tries to do that again here, but it just doesn't work, because we're in the superhero comic book renaissance now, and we know this now. So now
he knows it now.
Yeah, he knows it. We know it. So now it's like, now it just seems like he's giving us a lecture on it. You know what I mean? Because comic books are like the human condition. Of
and
this,
how much fucking do you know about the comic books to begin with? How are you gonna fucking lecture us?
Right. No, so we all know this, so now it just seems very, like, pot calling the kettle black sort of thing. It's like, yeah, dude, we know what you're telling us. You don't need to re-explain it to us.
Yeah.
You know? I was really frustrated with this film, and I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, which is, like, right down the middle. And then I went back and thought I was being too hard on it, because I had such a bad taste in my mouth from the ending, that the first two acts I did think were pretty well done. And it's definitely nowhere near as bad as some of Shyamalan's other works. And, because Shyamalan to me is the epitome of hit and miss. When he misses hard. But when he hits hard as well. You know, there's really no in-between for him.
Okay.
At least with me. I think Glass is really the first in-between film that he's ever done for me. So I kind of went back and gave it a 3-star, because it was enjoyable for the first two acts, but I'm really flip-flopping between 2.5 to 3. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Sounds like a 2.5 to me.
Yeah, it's kind of a 2.5, especially if he changed that third act. If the third act was changed, this would have been a 4-star for me, dude. I'm telling you. But it wasn't. That third act really derailed it, and then it went on way too long. Oh, and another thing. Mr. Glass's motivation. Remember how you told us when we reacted to the trailer, I hope his motivation is not only this? It's only that. Yep, that is only that. And I'm like, come on. And then at the very end, I won't spoil it for you, but there's something that happens, and a scene that happens where everyone's reacting to a certain thing that happened on the internet, and you can tell that this was written by someone who just doesn't understand the internet. It's like, that's not how the internet works. That's just not
I've seen that type of thing happen so many times.
Yeah, and this is no exception. Something happens at the end where you're like, no, that just wouldn't happen that way.
I don't know why writers don't just team up with people that actually understand it. Like, is this how it would work? Is this funny in internet culture? No.
But there are moments of greatness in the film sprinkled throughout. That's why it's so frustrating to me. So overall, this film is a 2.5 out of 5 for me. It was good. It was decent, but not good, not great. But it wasn't terrible, and it's nowhere near as bad as some of Shyamalan's other works. It's definitely watchable. Like, you would watch it, and like you wouldn't be bored or anything. But
that's happened many a times.
That ending really derailed it for me. It's been a while since I've seen a film really derail at the end like that.
I really kind of am interested now, just because I want to know.
I mean, you should see it. I mean, you can go ahead and watch it.
Oh, man.
You gotta know how the trilogy ends. Oh, another thing I want to mention.
Oh.
One of the characters gets... The end of his arc is stupid as hell. I won't say who, but there's a character in this film where he goes out like an absolute bitch. I'm like, really? That's the way he's gonna go out? I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
And I'm not gonna tell you what I mean by go out, but you'll know when you see it. You'll be like, what the hell, dude? So, yeah, this was a huge disappointment for me. But it's a January movie.
Yes! I was wondering that the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this getting released in the Graveyard Month?
Yes.
What the hell?
Yes, that's why, dude.
Okay.
Oh, it sucks, man. I'm so
That tells me that they didn't have faith in it either.
No, they didn't. I was really rooting for Shyamalan, dude. I really was.
I think a lot of people were.
Yeah, because he was on that comeback train. Dang it. Well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, anything you want to talk about?
I want to talk about. I've seen a bunch of movies this week. I'm just gonna blow through them.
Blow through
them. So I got this movie for free. Actually, I got 5 movies for free from being a Filmstruck subscriber, and that was King Kong, A Star Is Born with Judy Garland, Casablanca, which I already own, and what was the other 2? Singing in the Rain, which is one of my favorite movies, and then The Adventures of Robin Hood. So I watched The Adventures of Robin Hood.
With Errol Flynn?
With Errol Flynn.
Nice.
And, it was pretty much a comic book movie back then. It was pretty much like, it was like a superhero movie.
Yeah.
He was a superhero. He was identified in the public as Robin Hood as opposed to his actual name. People just kind of forgot about that thing. It was like a huge, major technical boom for like blockbuster movies, I guess, for that time. It's got the Technicolor, it's got great set work, and it has like a lot of great stunt work. And that's I don't really want to talk about it all that much. It's a decent enough film. Some people like absolutely love this film.
Call it like one of the best movies ever made, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, it is a remake of a Robin Hood movie that already came out like back in the silent film era. But it's probably a lot better than that. I'd give the movie a high 7.
Nice.
Real decent. And then I also watched. I'm not even going to talk about this movie. I'm just going to say I watched it. It was kind of a rewatch. Animal House, which I haven't seen in forever. For like late night raunchy comedies, this is actually not too bad.
Okay.
In all honesty. So I'd give it like a low 7. There's some scumminess to it, as you'd expect.
John Belushi.
But there's a lot of times where like you kind of forget about that because it just kind of redefined cool back then.
Right.
Or the basement shows were cool, and I can completely relate to that.
Right. No, I got it.
So Animal House was pretty decent.
All right. Cool. Let's talk about. Or sorry, were you done with?
That's it.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Let's talk about a film you haven't seen, and then we'll talk about the films we did see together.
Sure.
I saw Ghost Stories. It's on Hulu right now. Yeah.
It's on Hulu?
Yes. And just to be clear, this is Ghost Stories, not a ghost story.
Yeah.
Ghost Stories is a British horror film that has been kind of getting a lot of praise. It got a lot of praise in 2018. So, again, just adding to the 2018 perfecto year. I saw it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I don't know if it was... I wouldn't say it's overhyped for me because I don't get overhyped with films, but I don't think it's as great as everyone is saying it is. I think it's effective. I think it's really cool. It's almost like an anthology film. What it's about is basically about this guy who's sort of a skeptic who disproves paranormal activity, basically. And psychics, he disproves them all. He has his own TV show that he basically goes and disproves these people.
Okay.
Until his idol, who's vanished for years, invites him to his trailer. You know, this is like his idol he's talking to, who's also had like the same job, is like the same skeptic sort of job. And he's like, your work is shit, you don't know what you're talking about, and neither did I. You know, which is crazy to hear from your idol. And he's like, there are 3 cases that I have never solved. Here they are. So he gives him these 3 cases, and he's like, come back to me with explanations about these cases.
Is it like a mystery element?
There is sort of a mystery
element. Can you figure
element.
it out?
No.
Okay.
No. Not at all.
Oh, man, that's unfortunate.
No. So he's like, come back to me with these 3 cases and explain these 3 cases to me. You know? So it turns into kind of an anthology film after that, where he goes and interviews these people who have kind of went through these like really disturbing, scary scenarios, mostly supernatural, you know? And there are these like vignettes, these like mini short films within this film, some of them are like freaking terrifying. Like, they're like, whoa. Like,
that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's like, this is like messed up, especially the middle one. I'm not into like that type of shit. Like, devil shit really fucking gets me. I hate that shit. And the middle story was like, I am uncomfortable watching this. You know, like, this is messed up. Just on a psychological level, you know?
Yeah.
So the tone, the atmosphere is really good. And here's the crazy part about it. I was not expecting it. The first line in this movie is, my dad's religion ruined our family. And I'm like, here we go. Here we go. Typical anti-religion agenda that Hollywood, and especially British people have. That's not the case,
was it?
Not the case at all.
No.
It's actually like a pro-religion movie, in a way. Because this guy is a skeptic. And he tries to explain things. And this is a line. He's like, someone is like, you're upset. You're just upset because you can't explain what happened with atoms and molecules. And he's like, well, that's all there is in the world is atoms and molecules. And there's like a lot of debate like that. You know, like he goes to a church and then this priest kind of talks to him about spirituality and stuff like that. And it's kind of like a pro-spirituality, pro-religion kind of movie. And I was really surprised to see that, not just from a film nowadays, but especially from a British film, because you know how Brits are. Brits don't really take kindly to religion, mostly. So it was really kind of interesting to see that dynamic from it. Here's the problem, though. Guess what? Guess what happens?
What happens?
The ending.
Again. The ending fucks up?
Again. It doesn't fuck up. But when it happened, I was like, really? We're doing this? We're doing this? I was like, it's kind of like a cardinal sin with movies. Like, think about it. Like, just think about it in your head. What's the one way you should never end a film? Like, what's just the one way...
Do you want me to answer that?
What's the one way you should never end it? Whatever you're thinking of right now is probably the answer.
Okay.
But it might not be like that. Here, I'll give you a hint. That's all I'm saying. But it's not exactly that. But it might as well have been that. It might as well have been that.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I have this movie held at the library for me.
Really?
I have 3 movies held. That's one of them.
Yeah, so, you should watch it. It's good. It's really good. And although this ending, in my opinion, was a bit of a cop-out, it did make sense, and it did kind of handle it well. And I think it's still worth seeing. So you should definitely watch it.
Okay.
You should definitely watch it. So don't let the ending kind of deter you away from it. It overall had a good tone, good atmosphere, good acting. There was a lot of psychological questions, and there's a lot of story and drama there that is not in a lot of other films. Martin Freeman's in it. He's really good. He's the only guy I really knew. Yeah, for the most part, this is a good film. I gave it 3.5 out of 5.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. Not bad at all.
So you mean a 7?
Yes, sure.
Yay! I did it!
Yes! So, Ghost Stories, it's good.
Cool.
It would be an honorable mention in my 2018.
Because I will be watching it soon.
Yes, you should.
Cool.
All right. You want to talk about films do you have any other films that you saw that I didn't?
Yes. I just want to bring up one because we did, the Western thing, and I was watching a couple movies for it. Mm-hmm. I ended up watching a movie called Little Big Man with Dustin Hoffman and Faye Dunaway. Okay. Sounds like a winner, right? Yeah. No, it's Forrest Gump. It's Forrest Gump, but, like, not good. Oh, God. It's kind of like fate is, you're never going to escape the people that you run into or whatever. It's like a 121-year-old man, Dustin Hoffman, is telling the story about how his fight at the Little Bighorn. Okay. And, so it's kind of like, just kind of goes around in circles, because this movie starts with him, like, getting abducted by Indians, and then, he's with, the white man, and then he gets captured by the Indians again, and it kind of just does the same thing over and over again. And it's almost like a sketch type thing, where it kind of just doesn't show how he gets from one place to the next. It's like one idea after the next. And this movie just kind of just went around in circles for me, and it was kind of dull. And then there's this movie is like kind of a bad parody of the West, which is unfortunate, because there's this one moment where it could have been really effective as like a drama moment, but like there's just no weight to the film any other time, so it just didn't have any. It didn't do anything for me. I'm looking up just like pictures right now of this film. Yeah. I don't know, dude. This I don't know if it's better on film. The makeup is really bad. Yeah, I was about to say the makeup. There's only one time. It never comes back to him after they open with him. He narrates the whole thing, and he has this really weird raspy voice. But they never go back to like present time after that, which is good, because that thing looked disgusting. Yeah, that was like that's not. It's looks like a giant rotted onion. Yeah, like. Yeah, so. That's what a 121-year-old would look like. Yeah, I'm like... No, it's not... I didn't like it, but there's a ton of people that actually do like this movie. I see it. Like 96%, 4 out of 4 from Roger Ebert. It has literally the same structure as Forrest Gump. Really? It's the same formula, so I guess that makes Forrest Gump look a little bit less original. But Forrest Gump just did it better. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It wasn't about it. I gave it a 4. For sure. Oh... Another film that you saw, but like a while ago, but I didn't get to see. I'm sorry, is The Old Man and the Gun. Oh yeah. I'll just streamline this. It's a good old-fashioned movie, and it's a good send-off to Robert Redford. I liked seeing it. I like how everything, not just from the style, but the acting, the tone, the atmosphere, even the text of the film is all like old-fashioned, and it was really enjoyable. Honestly, one of my only things is Casey Affleck's performance is hit and miss for me, and that's usually like him, because he always talks kind of like this, and I can't really do a good impression of him, but, he talks really... Like Tom Hardy, low. When he has to, like, dumb it down. Well, he talks, like, really low, but high pitch at the same time. You ever seen Lawless? Tom Hardy and Lawless? I haven't seen Lawless. He talks like that. But, But I think that's just his way of adapting to that time. Yeah, it is. And I like his story with him and his wife and his kids. I liked that. I liked the message. I thought it was really cool. I liked how they used old footage from his old movies to kind of explain backstory for his character. Scene. I'm like, that's awesome. And it was funny. It was like surprisingly like I got a lot of chuckles out of it. Yeah, how much it actually worked really well. It's a good send off for him. He's a legend. I like this film a lot. I give it 4 out of 5. Yes. Agreed. All right, let's talk about films that we saw together. Oh boy, there's one in particular. I'm like, I can't wait to talk about this one. All right. It's going to be fun. Which one should we talk about? Let's talk about Event Horizon. Event Horizon! Paul W.S. Anderson. Dude, this movie is so bad. It's so bad. But you got to admit, we had a lot of fun watching this. We had a ton of fun. Now, we were with Brian and your brother. Yes. And we just ripped into it. Yeah, and they were drinking heavily throughout the movie. Yes, and again, I don't like to diss on movies because I know how hard they are to make, but this one, it just made the experience of watching it so much better and so much fun. And if I would have watched this in my house alone, I would have wanted to kill myself. Oh my god, no. That would have been awful. I even said that in my Stardust review. I'm like, if I saw this alone, I would, no way. No way. But this was a good film to really kind of... Yeah, it's a circumstantial film, and I still don't consider this movie to be a winner by any means. No way, dude. No. Like, there's a lot of people that, like, Letterboxd 7 and 8. Are you serious? Here's the crazy thing, because I know about this film because it has a huge cult following, and I felt like I was a little confused with the cult following, because a lot of people say the cult following stems from
the original vision of the film that was never released.
The Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, the Dante's Inferno. And there's elements like, they basically took Paul W.S. Anderson's real vision of the film and turned it into like nothing but quick flashes and flashbacks and stuff like that. And they kind of ruined his vision.
And part of that was his fault, though, because he had a deadline to do it and stuff. And he didn't do it on time. And then I think he asked to shorten the deadline or something like that.
Yes. I'm not... So...
I looked a little bit into it.
Yeah, I don't know that much into the backstory of it, but I will say one thing, though. Another thing, too, because I was thinking about the cult following, I'm like, is this a so bad it's good type of cult following? Kind of like The Room. Apparently not, because as soon as I posted my reaction, I gave it 1 star on Stardust, but I mentioned, like, it was fun to watch, because it's like it's a terrible film, but I had a good time watching it. Someone said, unironically, he's like, really? I think this is very, very, very underrated. I don't get why critics dislike this film. It only gets cheesy in the final act, which I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I don't see this film as a guilty pleasure. Technically, this is Paul W.S. Anderson's best film, which really doesn't surprise me because he's made some terrible films. The movie has developed a cult following over the years.
You said this. You literally said what's wrong with this film. Okay, so this is what I had to think about. It's like, this film is a failure. Yeah. It's a failure because it wasn't what it was intended to be, and there's a lot of people that... think this movie's stupid fun, and it's not what the movie was supposed to be. So that movie is technically a failure. Yeah. However, do I think that if he was to get the outcome that he desired, do I think this movie would have been good? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
not by his track record.
Yeah, exactly. I think it might have been a little better and maybe a little more watchable, but I don't think it would have been good by any means.
I think this movie's plenty watchable with the right crowd.
Oh,
with
of course.
with the right people. Scenario.
It was that was one of the funnest times because I watched Old Man and the Gun and Event Horizon in the same day.
Yeah.
And that was so much fun to just sit there with our friends and just like tackle this film, dude. Because there were some hilarious moments. Like they use cartoon sound effects for like the punches. Are you serious?
Dude, it's so bad. Then that snap zoom.
The snap zoom. Everyone, Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne are all sleepwalking through this film. And there's like a moment where you can actually see the wire pulling somebody out like from an explosion. Yep. Like the explosion like throws
They didn't
him
even
back.
try to hide it.
They didn't even try to hide it. There was a freaking wire that pulled them all back.
That was hilarious.
And that character was so annoying too.
So annoying, so worthless.
Sam Neill he becomes like, I'm going to spoil this, but who cares? It's Event Horizon. He becomes the villain in the movie, but it's weird because he's like, I am home. And then he goes into the shadows like he's becoming the villain, which kind of comes out of nowhere. And in the very next scene, it's almost like that's ignored. Yeah. He's like checking on someone like, oh no, what happened to you?
Like and it wasn't put together properly.
It seemed like the whole I am home like scene took place after that scene. Yep. But instead they reversed it so it didn't make any sense. It's like watching someone be the bad guy and then in the next scene you see him become the bad guy.
There's just such great dialogue here. Like you even brought it up and I had to look it up later. No casualties. This place looks like a tomb.
Yeah.
That's actually what happens.
No casualties. This place is a tomb. You mean a tomb filled with dead people, you moron?
Yeah, some golden dialogue.
This girl runs into an astronaut who was killed and was frozen in space, right? Her reaction when she immediately gets startled by this human being who just died is corpsicle. She's like, oh my gosh, corpsicle. I'm like, that's how you react when you see a dead body? You make a stupid-ass joke like that? You don't even get, like, shocked?
That's so bad.
That's
not even funny.
It's horrendous. And the production design, too, first of all, it's just ripping off Alien.
Dude, the chair.
Oh, the chair!
The fish hook chair is easily... I wrote this. This is the dumbest set piece I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's not logical at all.
No, it's not. It makes absolutely no sense. And the spaceships are made by humans, right? Mm-hmm. These are the most impractical spaceships I have ever seen. Why are there like hieroglyphics and shit like on the walls throughout these spaceships? There's no color. There's nothing. It's all black and gray. And like it looks like I'm in like an Egyptian movie that takes place in the future.
It's a terrible set design.
Yeah, it was awful. And was this film in 3D? Originally,
I looked it up during the movie. It was not intended for that.
Which is weird because the amount of times things get thrown at the camera is weird.
It is weird. Or like effects of not even real things just coming at the camera. Or whatever.
I don't understand it because when you watch a 3D film from like the 70s or 80s that was intended for 3D, you expect that type of gimmicky stuff.
Yes.
But when the film is not made for 3D and it does that, it sticks out like a sore thumb. It's like, this is weird. Why? You know?
I don't know, but
so
this
strange.
movie, it's bad, but I think because I expected it to be bad, it like kind of softened the blow.
Me too.
So, I mean, the movie, it's plenty fun. And, I mean, I definitely saw a lot of comparisons to, like, Cloverfield Paradox.
Oh, yeah.
But Cloverfield Paradox is attached to a franchise that is well-received.
Yeah.
And the name means something. But this movie, I guess the actors mean something about this time, but, like, they seem to not care about the movie either, so why should I? And I guess my point is, this movie isn't as bad as I should think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I should give this movie a fucking 1, but I'm not going to because...
Okay.
I mean, this movie means nothing to me, and I had a good time. I had a good time with it, and I would watch it again with the right people.
Oh, with the right people, 100%. It was a fun experience.
Bust it out during like a party or whatever.
Yeah, it was super fun. I almost wish we recorded during that whole like sit down.
Yeah,
we should have done a whole commentary.
We talked about that. Yeah,
we should have brought this microphone and just stuck it right.
But we had no clue what we were gonna watch.
That's
I was anticipating watching like a Western or something because we were about to do a Western list. So I didn't know. Nope.
But as a film, I gave it 1 star, but that comes with a caveat.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay.
I think I gave Cloverfield Paradox a 2 because yet again it's still funny.
Yeah.
I had a really fun time with it, but like it's the same thing, just it's better than that.
Right. To me, I'm gonna give it a 1 because the film is horrendous. But
yeah.
It comes with a caveat, which is it's awesome to watch. It is fun to watch.
Yes.
With the right group of people.
So I think we're on the same page, but like the ratings are a little bit different.
That's right.
Were you thinking about which one to talk about next?
No, I just had a thought. So what would you rate like The Room?
The Room?
Because The Room is a terrible film, but it's so bad it's good. So you know it's a 1-star movie, but you have such a good time you almost want to give it like 4 stars just because it's so fun to watch. So it's a really weird kind of line to ride.
Honestly, I'd have to watch it again.
No, I got you.
I watched it before I watched The Disaster Artist, like a long time ago. And I think now that I know like what happened during the filming and stuff like that, and it kind of seems like Tommy had intended it to be a good movie.
No, that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah. So
he
that
still
kind of
thinks
gives me...
It's a good movie.
Well, at the movie theater scene at the end, he's like, oh, yeah, it was supposed to be a joke. Like, he kind of went along with it because people were, like, laughing or whatever. And everyone's like, this is the greatest movie.
Right.
And it's like...
My friend met Tommy Wiseau about a couple days ago.
Really?
Dead serious.
There
was a showing at the Main Art Theater of The Room, and Tommy Wiseau was there.
No way.
Yeah, and my friend met him.
Are you serious? I didn't know he was going to show up.
Me neither.
Like that.
I would have gone. Damn.
I would have went too.
Damn, that's crazy. But yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it.
Right. All right, let's go on to our next film here. Which film you want to talk about next?
Let's talk... Oh, man. Let's talk about Me and Earl.
Me and Earl and the Dying Girl?
Yeah.
All right.
Get into that. Okay, so... Okay, upon first watch, I love this film because I really connected with the emotion there. But this viewing, this being my second viewing, I didn't really... And that might just be the fact that nobody else seemed to, like... get into it or whatever. I really liked that scene at the end of the movie, and like the Brian Eno song is just, it's so good. It's so potent. But like that was like the only thing that like I can like, now that I watched it again, I guess the main thing that I can see wrong with this movie is how mopey the fucking main character is. And he's not a likable character by the end of this movie. Yeah. And I didn't see that upon my first watch, and now that I kind of see it, it kind of drug the movie down a little bit, but not enough for me to dislike the movie by any means. I really like this movie, and I think, and you should probably, I think you'd agree too, this is one of the best shot coming of age stories.
100%. That's the thing. Okay, so first thing is, for those of you who don't know, it's about like a teenager who, he befriends this girl who's dying at his school, she has cancer.
He has to. It's like an obligation.
Yeah, it's like an obligation, but then it kind of blossoms into a real friendship or whatever, and stuff like that. First thing I'll say off the bat is, people have been wanting me to watch this film forever. This is one of Brendan's favorite films, and like you've talked about it. So I've been meaning to watch it. First thing off the bat, the cinematography is amazing, dude. The way it's shot is like so dynamic and like really cool. Again, like you said, one of the best coming of age movies, like in terms of like cinematography I've seen. Really cool. There's some really cool lines of dialogue, really funny lines of dialogue, especially with Earl.
Oh yeah,
like he's great. Yes, the thing that dragged it down for me was ignoring the fact that it's high school over-dramatized to the point where this is not what high school is really like. Ignoring that aspect of it, there's the whole cliche of there has to be that fight between
the
downfall, you know, the fight between the main character and the girl, and there's that fight and all that stuff, and then the character turns into an asshole, and then you're expecting the character to, you know, to realize his wrongdoing and to make amends, whatever, and that happens, but man, it took way too long. It did. He was a dick for way too long. That arc of him being a dick got to the point where it was so much of the film to where I started to actually hate this character, which sucks because I liked him when I first saw him, and when he was first talking and stuff. He's a film buff just like me and you, and it's like, why are you, like, chill out, dude. Like, I get what you're going through, but you're turning into a very unlikable prick. Like, dude, chill out. And that was the ultimate kind of downfall for me, because even during the time when he was a dick to people were still trying to be nice to him and recognize his situation. Yes. And, like, he was just, like, giving him the cold shoulder and, like, you know, saying fuck you to them. And I'm like, wow, dude.
But you have to understand, like, it's like a mourning phase almost.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's like, I think the realization that he was being a dick was kind of different than what you'd expect. Like, nobody gave him, like, any sort of lesson, really. It's basically just, like, after all that he's done to all these people, he's pushed them away. This one girl is like, hey, let's go to prom together.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
but
okay.
But he's such a dick to her, though.
He is, but she understands what he's going through, and he's really never gone through anything like this before.
Yeah, it's just...
He's been kind of emotionless all throughout his life.
He just became so unlikable, though, man. I was just like, fuck.
I see where you're coming from, but I can work with it.
Because she was like, hey, you want to go to prom? And he's like, fuck you, and then walks away. And then there's this whole thing that happens. And then even after all that, she's like, hey, let's still go to prom. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn. Like, that's,
I dig it.
Yeah, I mean, that's great on her part, but that didn't make me like that character anymore. You know, the guy.
Yeah.
Also, there's a few things where the movie tries to mislead you and completely fails. There's literally the first line of the movie negates the red herrings that you try to throw out in the middle of it. You know, I don't know if I should say it.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah,
you shouldn't. And I know exactly what line you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, I made a movie that did
yep,
this, and
yep,
I'm like,
yep, I know exactly what you're talking
about. And then
about.
later on in the film, he's like, oh, but this happens. I'm like, the first line of the movie, you said this, so it's like, why should I believe you?
No, that's true.
You know,
no, it's true.
So
it's,
so I didn't like that, but there was some good chemistry. There was some good cinematography, some good moments here and there.
There's a lot of really cool characters that you would never see in anything like this.
They're very
the tatted history teacher.
Yes, exactly.
He talks about these stories, and the stories have nothing to do with the lesson that you're supposed to pull away from it. And I love that. I love the father played by Nick Offerman who tries like exotic cuisines, and he's always got a new thing to try. And he teaches them foreign cinema, which is something that like it's for us.
They're very idiosyncratic. The characters.
Yes.
You know, they each have their own little quirk and their own little thing. And they're all different, which is cool.
It separates them from any movie, really.
You know, and I can see why my friend Brendan loves this film so much, is because he kind of does the same thing. And like with his short films and stuff. He makes all these characters really like odd, sort of surrealistic like portrayals of like
very specific.
Yeah, like very like a very idiosyncratic kind of portrayal of like the minutia of human beings, I guess.
Yeah.
That sounded pretentious, that whole sentence there.
No, it's fine. I dig it.
Yeah. So, overall, good movie. Didn't impress me as much as I would like. There was a lot of dips here and there. Great cinematography. I gave it a 3 out of 5 for me.
You know what? I'm still holding strong on this movie. I don't love it like I did, but I still really like this movie. I'm gonna give it a high 8, dude.
High 8? Gonna give it a hate?
I'm gonna give it a hate.
You're gonna give it a hate?
You can hate me all you want.
Oh.
No, dude. Oh, it's so good. But like, and I try not to let your emotions get the better of me while thinking about this movie, because I do see where you're coming from, and I kind of agree with you at some moments, but you definitely, like, I felt like hated the character by the end of the movie, and I can still
he
live
comes
with
around at the end.
I can still live with him.
He comes around at the end, but before that arc, I just wanted to punch him, dude. I wanted to be like, I want to punch you in the fucking face. I still get it.
And the storytelling of the movie is really good. Because he's the narrator, and he's,
right.
He's a very interesting guy, and the kind of the visuals of the film kind of go along with how creative he is as a storyteller.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of like sarcastic like title for like the landmarks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I still really dig the movie.
All right. We'll have to agree to disagree, even though we both like it. Just you like it more.
Yeah, it's fine. Which is weird because it's usually the opposite for like movies.
Yes, it is. All right, let's talk about the next film in the Girl series, Lars and the Real Girl. Yeah. So this has kind of been on my list as well, but I never really. I don't know. I wasn't like pushing away from the film, but it's just. Whenever I had the option to watch it, I would just not watch it, just because, I don't know,
it wasn't a priority.
Wasn't a priority. I watched it.
And you messed up.
I messed up because I don't like this film.
Liar. I
love this film.
It's a great movie.
It is so good. I did not expect it to be that good.
And I think the thing is, weirdly... I made a mistake too. I'll admit it. This is my second viewing of the film. I watched it, and I actually not disliked it, but I didn't love it. I wasn't crazy about it because
the first time or the second time.
The first time, I wasn't crazy about it because there's two ways that you can kind of view this. It's like an unhealthy coping mechanism or something like that, and that's kind of how I viewed it. Like the townspeople are supporting a delusion rather than supporting a human being, somebody that they care about, and I definitely have come around from that. And
because you realize like they're almost using reverse psychology to sort of cure him.
And it's
and for those of you who don't know, it's about Ryan Gosling, who portrays this really introverted, kind of socially awkward man who really can't talk to people. He doesn't even like being touched.
Yes.
And this is going to sound weird on paper, but trust me, it works.
It works.
He orders a sex doll and then treats this sex doll like a real person, like it's his real girlfriend. And he introduces this person to his friends.
Talks to it, of course,
family.
It can't talk back.
Yeah, he talks to it. And then this sex doll becomes a part of his life, and weirdly everyone else's life.
And it's an extension of the entire community and stuff. But like the thing is she represents something that almost makes the silicon body just kind of dissipate throughout the film.
Yes, it's what she represents that makes you actually care about this character. Like you begin to sympathize with this sex doll.
Yes.
It sounds so weird.
It does sound so weird.
It's kind of like when I try to explain Her to somebody. You know the movie Her?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, trust me though, it works. And they're like, oh my gosh. I remember my mom was
I was so against that film before I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, that just sounds stupid. And it actually was my favorite movie of that year.
When my mom was flipping through Netflix, she read the synopsis and she's like, they make some of the stupidest movies now. And I'm like, no, trust me. Her is amazing.
Yes.
Like, you gotta watch it. Like, it's absolutely fantastic.
And for me, Lars and the Real Girl, it's no Her, but it's still really good.
It is still really good.
For, like, an indie film, it's very minimal.
That's one thing I like about it, though, is that it goes against genre conventions. Because there were plenty of times when, like, he would take Bianca, who's the sex doll or whatever, to, like, a party. Or, like, something would happen where he's, like, bowling alone.
Yeah.
And then, like, this group of rowdy dudes comes in, and you're like... Oh,
dude, they're gonna start a fight.
They're gonna start a fight. They're gonna make fun of him. They're not gonna accept. They're gonna kick him out. That's not what happens at all. It goes against that convention and actually has like a really heartwarming and sentimentality to it.
It takes the high road to every single scenario.
Yeah,
almost.
The power of this film is its sentiment and its wholesomeness.
Yes,
and this film is it's amazing to me. I could not think of something. Maybe you can. because you're you. But
Okay,
I could not.
man.
I could not think of something I really didn't like about it. Like something to really kind of take it down. I give it a 5 out of 5. I'm being real, straight up. I give it a 5 out of 5, especially because I could kind of relate to Ryan Gosling's character, not to that extent. He took it to 100, but for me, I could kind of relate to the character. I understood what he was going through, and I really liked the dynamic between him and his family and this doll that honestly you grow to sympathize with. So for me, 5 out of 5, 100%.
You know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked at my review because I was curious what I did say about not liking it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say shit.
Or the aspect you didn't like about it.
I didn't say shit.
All right, there you go. Oh, look at that.
And it's funny.
Because even with the best films, you can find something that keeps it from...
Well, yeah. Now I feel like I'm on the spot here. Like I have to... And the thing is, I don't really know.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Maybe it's one of those films like, I didn't give Old Man the Gun a perfect 5 because I don't really know why. It's just something, it didn't hit me as much as something like Lars did.
And that's kind of true. Mm-hmm. This movie does have like a strange line between like quirky and like sentimental. Mm-hmm. And it's sometimes I feel like its awkwardness does kind of have the upper hand against the sentimentality of the film. And it definitely was. There was like definitely some moments where I'm like, I can't watch this. This is so uncomfortable.
See, I think the awkwardness enhanced it personally.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say like it's they're complete opposites or whatever, like polar opposites, and they kind of like pull the other side further, that's fine. Sometimes I felt like it did bring the film down a little bit, or like I didn't completely connect with it because of something like that.
Right.
But I still really like this movie. I give it a solid 8, but I'm thinking it's a high 8.
High 8?
I'm thinking a high 8.
Giving it a hate?
I'm giving it a hate.
Giving it a hate? Oh,
I hate this movie.
Yeah, that would be good. I hate this movie. That's good.
But it's really good.
It is.
It's so minimal.
I was not expecting it to be that good.
It really only has one moment when it gets melodramatic. There's only one time where it's like, okay, this could have been avoided, but like I'm not upset that it did it. I'm just saying like it kind of felt like it was like a necessary, or at least filmmakers kind of see this kind of downfall as like a vital thing that goes along with these types of films.
Right.
It could have been avoided, but what can you do? Mm-hmm. No, it's really solid.
Sick.
Really solid.
Solid, baby.
And I'm glad that you liked it so much.
I did. I really liked it. Ryan Gosling is...
His performance in this movie kind of follows all his other performances because he's always like socially awkward or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's like different.
It's a different type of socially awkward.
Yeah, it comes along with like nervous tics and stuff that can push characters away or people away, I guess.
True. Fantastic movie. Fantastic podcast.
Yeah, that went really well.
It did.
That was all the movies you got to talk about, right?
I think, let me see. Yes it was.
So, next week, I'm going to be picking our list, and I've already decided what it was. I knew from last week what it was going to be. We're going to talk about top 5 films that we are ashamed that we haven't seen.
There are so many, dude.
So many, but condensing this list is going to be very difficult.
Yes. So, I think that's it, huh?
I think that's it. Expect that. It's going to be a cool list. I think the longer we wait on it, it's just going to be a more watered down list as we see more stuff. Mm-hmm. So,
all right. Well, we talked a lot about Clint Eastwood, this podcast. So,
okay.
So what I got to say is, are you feeling lucky?